tell you
What
to
title?
change the title at the top of the screen, which tells you your title
What title? Which screen?
of that
Tarna
setup.
Talk. I said change it to Tarna Talk.
No, you changed the description of it to Title Talk.
What?
At any rate, yeah, the title.
What?
You
Well, it's
didn't
too late to
the
change the
title.
rest.
Yes, I know.
It's now been tweeted.
Yes,
That was the tweet that I edited. So.
I was trying to get you to do the other thing, but no.
Hi.
Hi there, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Tarna Talk. It's our TED Talk.
It's our TED Talk about Tarna.
Yeah, Tarna and
Tarna.
Fricana and things like that.
And
Because it's summertime.
summertime.
And the living ain't easy in the summertime, I'm sorry.
Fish are jumping. And something or other. Oh, your dad is rich and your mom was good looking.
Although, we're not exactly either one, so that works. What's a Tarna? That should be actually a joke.
What incarnation?
Yes. Tarna is the land that Quest for Glory 3 takes place in.
It doesn't sound like anything. Where did that name come from?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't remember.
You're the author. You should know all that.
Yeah, I know.
Should have at least
Yes,
researched
exactly,
it before we did a Tarna Talk.
Yeah, I know. I never thought of it. So that was a good question, Giggle. Yeah. Jumbo. Yes. Jumbo. Good Jumbo.
Tarna Art.
Yes.
Right,
So, yeah.
Tarna Art, Irana Tart? Tarna Tart.
Audio's a little quiet for
Oh,
me.
anyone, you can't hear us well? Of course, if I turn it up, you'll hear the TV in the background.
Unfortunately, sigh that.
I can only turn it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
How about now? Shimon, you might need to turn up your volume because it was near max. Now it's max.
Yeah. So
We don't get no louder than that unless I do this.
You could do that part.
I don't
How
know what
about
that does.
Isn't that a volume thing too?
I don't know. Is that louder or is that the same?
Happy Saturday, Coles. Yes.
I think I probably just changed the balance.
I finally made a stream. Was just doing
Oh, he says it's better.
a RimWorld tribal playthrough. New expansions are fun. Oh, that's interesting.
Woohoo!
So I know Quest for Glory 3 wasn't originally in the plans and was going to be 4 games based on the season. I always felt that Tarna fit the summer. What were the original seasons and how did that change with Q?
Originally, Silmaria was going to be the summer.
No.
the
Sorry, we
Sea.
started in the spring, the early spring.
Yeah.
So that's the first game.
Oh, and then it was summer in
Summer
Shapir.
because Shapir
Yeah, 'cause that's all the desert and
appropriately
stuff.
deserty summer too.
The summer. Okay, I can't count that high. And then the third game was going to be Shadows of Darkness, which is obviously fall and Halloween.
Yes, and then
And then I guess we're at
fourth
winter.
game we're at winter, but we're in the Mediterranean, and you'll never
Mediterranean
notice
winter
it.
might as well be summer.
Yes. Summer in Shapir also makes a ton of sense. It does. Yes.
Hot town, summer in Shapir.
Yep. Gronkety gronk, indeed. Need to have a Saurus for that one.
Arr.
So yes, Quest for Glory 3 wasn't on our original plans, and it was inserted in. Corey was off doing other stuff.
Yeah. So right about then. Well, that happened a little later, I think.
No, you were gone the whole time.
Okay, so while Lori was planning for Quest for Glory... Oh, she was working on Quest for Glory 1 VGA.
Yes.
And rewriting all the scripts and making everything work for menu-based dialogue. And I got assigned to convert SCI over to the Sega Genesis CD. And I was partnered with a guy from Dynamics who had worked on Willy Beamish for the Sega Genesis. And all was hunky-dory, except that things kept giving odd results. And then I discovered that my partner had turned off the memory check and that we were out of memory the entire time. And the Sega Genesis CD just did not have enough memory to run SCI without a complete rewrite. I thought SCI was pronounced like ski. Good. Or sigh.
Yeah, but we always
So I
said
basically
it out.
wasted about 6 to 8 months on that. And then they switched me back over. When they canceled the project, they switched me back over to Quest for Glory 3, which was in final proofread status at that point. I wrote a little piece of code that got thrown away.
Yep.
And I proofread the documents and tried to undo the damage that the producer had done. The producer decided that the game wasn't politically correct, and that the word native needed to be
stricken from the
block search and replaced, changed to indigenous.
Yeah.
And I guess technically indigenous flora and fauna is not wrong, but it sure sounds wrong. So we had like native flora and fauna, and that all got changed. So I had to go through and systematically edit it without offending the producer too much. But
wait, they actually pay attention to what we type in here? Yeah. We actually do try to read and talk to people, yes, as opposed to just yakking.
Except when I'm playing World of Warcraft. When I'm playing World of Warcraft, I'm busy trying not to be the worst.
You can't see anything.
Well, I'm just trying not to be the worst WoW player in the world.
Did you have any ideas for Tarna before the game was planned? No, we weren't planning on Tarna at all. We weren't planning on Africa.
So the storyline is in Quest for Glory 2, you meet Rakish, who is a paladin who has a wound somewhat like the Fisher King in Christian mythology that won't heal. And he tells you a story about having come to Shapir to try to find help because his land was attacked by...
he doesn't actually say all that.
He doesn't tell you all that, but it tells you some of it.
Yeah. We imply some stuff going on.
He does say something about a fight with a demon, I think.
Yes, he did.
And that he was wounded in a fight with a demon.
Yes.
Anyway, so that's all implied, and then we just sort of let that pass. That was just a story element Lori came up with for Quest for Glory 2, is she wanted to have a lion centaur and, and kind of teach the idea of being a paladin, because Quest for Glory 2 is the first game in which the player can become a paladin. And so I run into Ellen Guan Beeman who was just Ellen Guan at the time, in the hallway, and she says, "I know what Quest for Glory 3 is going to be." And I say, okay, and now at this point, Quest for Glory 3 was all planned out to be Quest for Glory 3 Shadows of Darkness, and it was going to be set in Transylvania and that sort of thing, Mordavia. And Ellen says, "You're going to be following up on the story of Rakish and visiting his homeland in Fricana and saving the land from the demons." And I nodded my head sagely and said, "Wow, you're really sage. You got it exactly." And I went to Lori and said, Ellen's got a pretty good idea there. And the reason for that was that originally, remember, Quest for Glory 2 came right on the heels of Heroes Quest. It was 1989 we released Heroes Quest, and 1990 we released Quest for Glory 2. But then there was a gap year when we did educational games.
A gap 2 years it winds up being.
And, it was gap year and a half. It was actually, gap 2 years. And we said, we're going to get new players into this game, and if we throw them into the kind of challenges that we have in mind for Quest for Glory 4 Shadows and Darkness, where you're all alone in a hostile environment and the townspeople don't like you and so on, that's going to be too much for new players. So I said, because of that gap, we really could use a transition
and the
game.
name change and everything else.
Yeah, we changed.
We just figured we needed to have a better transition game to get the players to, fall in love with it, to love the magic. And, we were also changing the interface to a point and click, which of course is totally changing the entire game. So I was, really wanted to do, once we thought about this, it said, yeah, this is all right. We really need to have this African game, The Wages of War.
And we thought that would be a really cool setting, and it was. And there had been few or no games set in Africa at that point. So we were really forging new ground there. And we wanted to give different environment in every game to the players. So that's why we were going to go to Mordavia next. But Africa, the East Africa, we call it East Fricana, is quite a different setting, even though, Quest for Glory 2 is set kind of in northern Africa, in the whole...
What?
Quest for
all
Glory
right.
2.
Northern Africa, it's really... Africa?
Yeah.
I never thought of it as Africa. It's Persia. That is not in Africa.
It's
Iraq and Iran are not in
all right.
Africa, technically speaking.
Well, part of it was Casablanca, which is
Well, that was just
And
throwing
Casablanca's-
Casablanca in there, but yeah, but
Yeah,
it
all
was
right.
really Persia. So
the
Arabian Nights.
Israel, Egypt, Casablanca, that whole area that is the northern northern Africa and the peninsula that has Iran and Iraq and so on, which is kind of
Mideast.
Africanish. Anyway, but East Africana is a completely different environment from
Yes,
those.
that's Kenya. I mean, it's based off of Kenya, which is why Tarna sounds like Kenya. Yes.
Tarna sounds like Kenya.
Yes, it does.
Okay, that's where you came up with
Well,
it.
it came out of that. Yes. Okay.
You probably
so
had
let's
some
see.
reason
I
for it.
did have a reason. I can't really remember all of it. Rakesh actually isn't a Christian mythology. It's the concept, though, of the Fisher King, the king whose wound won't heal. Which, yes, it is. It's not as much Christian, I would say. Well, it is.
Well.
It does go into Christian, but it also goes into Arthurian lore. It's
Yes,
part
which,
of the
which also comes from
yes.
Christian.
Well,
Christianity.
technically speaking, yeah.
Yeah.
But mostly Arthurian legend, and so that's where it's coming from.
So who's the character in Arthurian legend?
The Fisher King. That's what his name
Is-
is. He's called the Fisher King, yeah.
Oh, okay, so somebody should look that up and
Yes, so...
because I didn't look it up first.
Count Dracula, yes, Elizabeth
Dracula.
Bathory, yes. Yes,
I want to bite your neck. I want to suck your blood. Works better.
yes, so
Ooh.
she actually wanted
Doesn't get
to
enough credit.
bathe in blood, yes.
Yes, Elizabeth Bathory wanted to bathe herself in blood, and
So she would stay young.
So the blood of children.
Yeah,
So
young
she would-
virgins, young
vir-
female virgins.
Oh, I didn't know they all had to be female.
Yes, they had to be female too.
And
yeah.
so she would stay young forever. Vlad the Impaler, yes, was a real king who had Dracula as his title, I believe, actually, Dracul.
Yeah, the Dracul, the dragon.
But as far as noble taking advantage of
Yeah, we will go with Bathory is really the villain in as things go.
Investigator
Whereas-
who brought Bathory down was the Palatine of Hungary.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. The Dark Master was indeed a woman, and she was taken down by a paladin.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yes. The African setting was definitely original and refreshing. Different locations for the series were really an iconic aspect of Quest for Glory,
They
which
are.
is exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to give the players a magical mystery tour of the cultures of the areas and places and the language and things like that.
We wanted the settings and the environments to be cool.
And we wanted
Whatever.
them to be very much part of where we were coming with the story.
Laurie had a whole series of like phrase books in different languages, and for each game, and that comes into play in our. We'll talk more about that when we do our phrase flummoxer.
The 1991 film The Fisher King by Terry Gilliam tells the story of trauma and quest in New York City from in Wikipedia. That has Robin Williams, and it's a really, really fascinating film. Terry Gilliam, who used to be on the Monty Python group, has a very twisted way of telling stories. You could also look at his movie Brazil or Baron Munchausen, but really the Fisher King is pretty
I
straight.
was thinking there was one of the Knights of King Arthur who had a wound that would not heal, and I can't remember which
Well,
knight it
no,
was.
actually, I think
Was it Lancelot?
no, none of the main knights did. It was the kings. Some of the kings. Remember
The king himself?
No.
Oh.
Remember that when Arthurian legend is, England is all sorts of minor kings and nobles.
Yeah.
And so Arthur's job is to unite the whole kingdom under one nation and things like that, yeah.
To create an empire. Much
How
as,
did you research
Wagner.
geography and culture before the internet? Library? Did you travel for research? We wanted to travel for
yeah.
research.
Laurie's lifelong dream is to visit the Greek Isles, and we still haven't done it.
We've left most of our research books behind, but yes, we had a huge library of books, and we did
A lot of art books as well as travel books.
and not too much the library, because Oakhurst Library was not one of the bigger libraries and things like that. So yeah, it was mostly books, and well, we were pulling from stories. Like, we had this one little bookstore in Oakhurst, You know, it was a little used bookstore called Mountain Light. No, not Mountain Light.
Mountain Light.
Was it Mountain
Yeah,
Light?
Mountain Light Bookstore.
And we went to it one day, and they had the complete text of all of the Arabian Nights.
No, we didn't get that from there. We got that from the bookstore in Berkeley.
No, we did not. We got it from the bookstore that was in the A-frame. That was
Mountain Light.
No, that wasn't. I think Mountain Light was the one in the shopping center. At any rate, we got it from there. We got it from the woman in there, and she had the whole series by Richard Burton translation, and that was 12 bucks.
Yeah, it was 12 books plus 4 supplementary, I think, or something like that.
So. And so,
16 books altogether. I read about 2 of them. Lori claims to have read them all.
I didn't. I read about 4 of them.
Oh, okay.
They got repetitious after a while, but yeah.
But the thing we were trying to do with Quest...
These people are educated, bro. They're not ghetto like us. No, we had to actually read. Yes. I was in a mom-and-pop bookstore one time, and I came across a book that had a whole chapter on Erasmus, and then there was another book full of poetry by Omar. Yes, oh yes.
Well, the one that definitely did come from the...
Hi from Lake Tahoe.
Oh, hi there.
Yeah.
Kennedy's in Lake Tahoe. Nice.
Yeah, nice place
hope
to be.
Hope it's cool there.
Yeah.
So yes, the thing that was in the attic of the bookstore at the in Berkeley was the Space Child's Mother Goose.
Okay, yeah, but
and,
I'm not sure that actually.
No, but that had the great double-dactyl Higgledy. Was it double-dactyl? Higgledy Piggledy, my black hen. She lays eggs in the relative when. She doesn't lay eggs in the absolute now because she's unable to postulate how.
I'm not sure how that fit in at all.
I don't know, but it was awesome. But yes. I think that was the same bookstore had the...
yeah, I think
my memory is that bookstore was the one where we got the...
we got it from Oakhurst, and it was such an amazing coincidence that they would have it. We had the book...
And it was like $50, you know, we were expecting to pay hundreds.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that was really very cool. So, yes,
and I later researched those to see if we could resell them for hundreds, and they were worth about $50.
Right. So we actually probably gave them away at the end.
Yeah.
But most of our books got given away. Ah, thank you very much.
There's the Ring Zombies. Zamatra, subscribe.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's 6 months of subscription. We really appreciate that.
Yes. Your memories are impressive despite the flaws. Yes, secondhand bookstores found some real out-of-print gems in them. Yes, there really are fascinating places. Yes. I wrote about the Arthurian Fisher King's daughter in my... there we go. Small World. There we go, yes. So
there was a small used bookstore in, I think it was in Namport, Boise, Idaho, where I found a copy of Godstalk.
Ah, okay.
And we had a worn-out paperback copy, but I got the hardcover from there.
Yes. Okay, yes, there's a hero U there.
There's a U.
Uh-huh. The positive now. Okay, thank you, Kanita.
Lay eggs in the positive now because she's unable to postulate how.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I wonder what I said.
Thank you. Absolute now? I don't know. I just want to say that Quest for Glory 1 through 4 were a huge part of my childhood. Thanks so much for making the whole series. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway, so all this stuff about, we were talking about...
Quest for Glory 3 or...
2, so we should get back to 3.
Yes, yeah. 3. 3, now to get to 3, actually, I have to pull back to my high school. I was in a geography class, and it was, the ordinary geography class, and for some reason my teacher decided I didn't belong in it, so she kicked me out to the library and said I could spend all my time researching in the library rather than sitting through the class, which was perfectly okay with me. But then I had to write a big report on it, and of course that I didn't...
Which you undoubtedly did the night before it was due, the hour before it was due.
Not quite, because I had to use the library on it. So yeah, a couple days before it was due, I had to write it. And I happened to pick up a couple of books on African mythology and African tribes. It was an old book. It was like probably written in the 40s. But it talked about shapeshifters and that whole leopardman culture that I created for that game came out of that book I read in high school. So you never, ever know when a book is useful.
Where inspiration will come from.
Because I never found that book again, and so therefore most of this is made up. But it really was after the concept of the shapeshifter of the leopard men.
And
Yeah.
the Simbani, of course, were based on the Maasai warriors.
We had beautiful art book about the Maasai warriors, and of course books on that. Yeah. On most of my trips, most of the fellow travelers
Says Arlo
wanted to
Hero.
take it. Yes, Arlo Hill. The one time I met someone who was super active and wanted to have a lot of experience with me. He happened to be my roommate on a trip by coincidence, and his alarm clock music on his phone was a theme to The Secret of Monkey Island. Ah, cool. The games you wrote inspired people in more ways than you know.
Now, to be clear, we did not write either The Secret of Monkey Island nor the theme to Secret of Monkey Island, but we loved the game.
Yes, it is the books, yes.
And we did talk with Ron Gilbert a few times during development of our games and his.
Books read in childhood and adolescence can have a lasting impact on us. Maybe because we tend to be more impressionable at that time. That's what games are doing too. You know, most of you have played games at a certain age, and therefore you're here today.
Well, we also had kind of a unique background because most game designers start when they're like 20. They're like just out of college or something, or maybe in high school or college, and we didn't start till we were 30. Or early 30s, and so we had a little bit more life experience to draw on from the typical just out of school person.
High school, yeah.
And
But then again, you know, you could do it at any age, even at this age.
Yep.
Yeah. On the subject of Tarna, do you have any thoughts
Well,
on
I
what
don't
the
know,
parts of the city you don't see in the game, like what's in the north side of the city that nobody talks about? I don't really remember about the north side, but I do know there was a whole, you never get to go see the Lion Tar part of the city. And that's because, well, humans aren't allowed. And so I saw
also
it.
because we had a budget.
Okay, so, no, really, we were taught that there were many things. The first thing I do when I create a game is figure out what are my themes, what are the things that are, then this isn't just, you know, what are the, you know, heroism. It was about class. The Tarna is all, you know, apartheid, effectively. Not quite, but it was the fact that the Lion Tars do not let the humans over to their side. The Lion Tars control everything. They're a, you know, they aren't an evil society. They're not, you know, wicked, but they do make sure that everybody follows their rules, their laws, and, you know, it's their way or the highway. And so humans are not the major, you know,
Yeah, they have Lion
the
Tar
ruling
privilege.
classes, yes. So I wanted to play off of you're coming into a place where suddenly all of the things, you know, your preconceptions are broken when you come to this place. So therefore, you have to learn the culture of the Simbani, and you have to learn what the leopard men are like and what they're doing before you can begin to interact or play in the game.
So did the Leopardman tribe ever have a name other than Leopardmen?
No, they always had the leopard men.
Shame.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you spent way too much time trying to figure out how to sneak into the other parts of the city. Yeah, and yes, the apartheid caste system was very well done. Yes.
Incidentally, the title Wages of War also has kind of a Christian root to it. It is based on the biblical quote about the wages of sin is death.
Yes, so this is the wages of war.
And it's an anti-war message.
It is. It was a kind of an anti-war message, but also that, you know, the message
and anti-prejudice.
Yes, anti-prejudice and to look beyond the obvious. That's always been a theme that we keep doing. What's the reason that the thief doesn't have as much to do in Quest for Glory 3 as other games? Was there just not enough room for it in the budget game discs? It's a matter of it didn't work well. If you couldn't be a thief.
It couldn't be a thief in Tarna itself
because you have to have consequences. And if you can just do thievery in a place that, you know, you're effectively going to be...
It would be a very short game if you were a thief in Tarna.
Yes, exactly. And being a thief in the Simbani village makes no sense because, you know, you're in a small place with a small tribe. Everybody knows everything. And if you you've tried to steal something for somebody else there, they're going to know it's going to be the most likely suspect. So all sorts of things.
And Schumann says, the wages of sin are death, but by the time they take taxes out, it's more of a tired feeling. And he has that in quotes, so he clearly must be quoting. That must be an actual biblical quote. I'm sure he would not have put it in quotation marks.
So, right. So, therefore, yes, the thief gets kind of a short stick, but he also gets to do.
Oh, cows don't fit in the inventory. Yeah, you can't steal cows from the Symbonic, which is most of their wealth.
That's true too. But you do get to steal, magic items, so, you get to do something.
You can fit a grotesque gulp in your inventory, and Leisure Suit Larry,
surely you could put a cow in your pocket, really.
Yeah.
So anyway,
only on the secret cow level.
Not only on the secret cow
I wonder if anyone's discovered that yet.
I don't know. Any rate.
That's a Blizzard thing. That's not a Sierra thing.
In some ways,
Sierra
that was
is about
kind
having
of the
moose.
point of Harami, to show the overly harsh consequences for thievery. Yes, indeed. On the other hand, I was thinking about real life, and, being turned into a nobody is one thing. Having your hands chopped off, that's the whole another level of harsh.
I don't have any hands.
Yeah,
All I have is my arms and right here.
Yes. I mean, it's Egypt. I was thinking grave robber of the pyramids. That would have been something too if we were. We're below Egypt though. We had done, and we do call we clearly pulled a lot of Egypt into this, but it really wasn't about the Egypt's culture. I thought the thief might have a connection with Harami. Maybe helped him and got quests from him. That would have been reasonable.
I think there is to a small extent, but. Or the paladin has more to do with Harami.
Harami actually has dialogue indicating he'd rather be disarmed over honorless. That's what he learns. He learns that he's used to the idea you get your hands cut off, but the concept of being honorless had no meaning to him when he gets there. It
has a meaning by the time it happens to him.
So yeah.
You're in a small place in a small tribe. Everyone knows everyone. Sounds exactly like the little town where I went to college. Almost had a nervous breakdown for the isolation. Well, we lived in one of those when we were making all the Quest for Glory games.
And we're good at that. We're good at isolation.
Oakhurst was a big small town. There was about 8,000 or 12,000 people, and we were in Awani, which was 1,500 people.
Schumann saying the thief being the only class that was allowed to sneak into the Liontar part of the city would have been neat. Probably a budgetary no too. Yes, it would have been. We do have and yes, if I'd had my way and had more time, I only had a small window to actually do the designs. It would have been great, and it would have made for a great graphic scene. Yes.
I would suggest something like that, or maybe get forged documents to help Harami escape the city, and then he'd have a new forgery skill.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, we added the communication skill and didn't really do nearly enough with it. We tried, but...
Yeah. Quest for Glory 3's ending was really nice. It was not just the hero fighting the demons, but his friends fighting with him, something that only comes back in Quest for Glory 5. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to pull off on the screen. Remember, we could only animate a tiny part of the screen at a time on those slower early computers. On the 10D1000, it was, it was a struggle to get things to work at 10 frames per second. They mostly worked at 4 or 5.
So, yeah, mostly, the problem was technical. It was very difficult to pull off, so we couldn't do a lot with that.
Yeah.
It was all about actually making connections and making friends and learning how to, these other cultures and learning how to deal with people on their own terms. So, yeah.
We were also still on floppy disks for Quest for Glory 3, and we'd already blown out the Sierra's budget for a number of floppies for 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Games were much bigger than they were used to, because, they were basically making, adventure games with a little bit of graphics and a lot of text. And we tried to do too much with actually showing everything. That was my favorite quote from Brian Moriarty when he did Loom for LucasArts. Said that the rules of making graphic adventure games he learned from Lucas was rule number 1: anything the player can do, you've got to show, and rule number 2 is you never have the disk space or budget to show anything.
Yeah. So you always making a game is an improvisation. You have to figure out where the rules are that you don't know, so that you can work around them or work within the constraints.
David TKI says, funny enough, I felt compelled to write a tier list of QFG skills how useful I thought each one was across the series. Communication ended up F tier.
Yeah,
I think you get some better prices and stuff.
It does, but really it was not very workable as a skill. And so therefore you'll see we kept shedding things, skills that we couldn't actually take advantage of as we went along. There was a thing in Quest for Glory 2 that happens if your communication skill is really, really low. You can't successfully tell Julinar about yourself. Oh no, that's sad. And the
Well, that got into something we learned in Heroes Quest. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all right. I'm going to go into
that basically about luck rolls and so and probabilities is that if you're trying to pick a lock and you failed, and especially you wanted to have consequences, like if you kept picking the lock over and over again, that the sheriff would pick you up eventually. That basically you get trained out of trying again. And we tried to make it so that you would have enough feedback that tells you that, yeah, if you keep practicing this, you'll get good enough at it to try it. But if your communications skill is low, you wouldn't have understood what we were saying about that.
Oh no. Okay.
Ask you about Loom.
So glad you mentioned Loom. It's I think it's one of the most underrated and wonderful games in the genre. It's certainly memorable and beautiful.
It is. I did replay it again a year or two ago, and it wasn't quite as good as I remembered it.
No, but it's the experience.
Yeah, when I first encountered it, I was with Gruka Singh Khalsa had a copy that had broken the copy protection. We actually did that for a lot of games. Even though we owned the game, we would get a cracked version just so we didn't have to dig out our manual and do the copy protection all the time. So we fought copy protection in our own games. Sierra insisted on it a couple times, but for the most part, we tried not to use it.
I experienced huge cognitive dissonance as a kid, getting next to free meat and feeling guilty about it at the same time in Quest for Glory 3. Poor Calb.
If only you would do that in real life and,
Yeah.
increase your tips or something.
So, of course, the Simbani are were based off of this, whatever they are. Yes, now my brain is going. Simbani were based off of the Maasai,
Yes.
and the storytelling practices of them. That I have caught a story as a story, and it's all the audience responses, so that the storytelling is an interactive thing. I thought was a wonderful.
Yeah, I think he's one of the more evocative characters. Now, I personally loved Quest for Glory 3. This is the one game in the Quest for Glory series, 3 and 5, were the two games that I did not have much at all to do with the design on. So I was in with Lori planning the original setting and the concepts, and then after that, I went away for 6 or 8 months to work on Sega Genesis while Lori wrote Quest for Glory 3. And so I encountered it near the end as playtesting, and I really had a fun time. I said, this is such a good story. So to my mind, Quest for Glory 3 is one of the strongest stories of the game.
Art of Heroes says, geez, if the game creators are doing it, I'm just breaking copy protection too. Yes, but we do own the game.
We do buy the game. We make sure we buy the game.
That the problem with just pirating games is that you can't afford to make games.
Yeah, the developers can't make any more games.
Developers won't make any more games. And we've, seen that happen again and again.
Which gets along with Schumann's criminal comment. If you keep picking the lock over and over again and get caught, you can use your communication skill to talk your way out of it. Oh, I've lost my wedding ring in this keyhole. I'm just trying to fish it out.
There we go. Calb and Manu were two of my favorite characters because they're both so innocent. Well, of course, the other big influence that I had for writing this game was Tarzan of the Apes. I read all of the Tarzan of the Apes series when I was a kid, and I had the books for most of my life.
I lived in Tarzana for a time,
Yes.
which I think was named because Johnny Weissmuller lived there.
Oh, was it that? Okay.
Yeah,
So
he
at
lived
any
there.
rate, and of course the Tarzan and the Lost City was the influence for the Forgotten City, or whatever we called it, the Lost City. And the Ape Men, those are all pulled out of Edgar Rice Burroughs' books. And so, yeah, I basically was trying to give the game, the second half of the game, to feel like romancing the stone kind of thing. Suddenly we're in a real adventure as opposed to this political adventuring and machinations and things like that. That suddenly when you're midstream, you suddenly go on this fantastic journey. So you've got different balances to the game of this up and down roller coaster of design of how the game plays as you go along.
I was looking at some transcripts of Quest for Glory 3, trying to find quotes for Phrase Flummoxer, and was struck by the fact that somewhere between a quarter and a third of all of the text in the game is interactions in the bazaar. It's all about buying and selling things and what their merchandise is and stuff like that. So it really is much more of a storytelling, role-playing game than the others. It's all about the role. Let's see, Candaheed said the open world aspect of QF3 was marvelous too. Yeah, some people loved it and some people hated it.
Yes.
We got comments from reviewers and people who played the game that impacted us a little bit and caused us to make extra mistakes. And one of those was that Quest for Glory 3 was one of them is that they felt like they were on rails in some of the games, and so we made it more open world. And then pretty soon, Quest for Glory 4, the comment came back that, well, I was lost. I couldn't find my way anywhere at the beginning of the game. I just kept wandering around the forest, and there was no direction to it. Well, if you don't talk to the NPCs and so on, don't pay attention to what they say, then you have no direction.
Yeah. That's interesting. Art of Heroes said his actual interactions with people in there, the Maasai, they didn't even understand what he meant. Well, remember, I'm getting these from books and not firsthand. So I am only getting what I have heard. And the storytelling is also a part of the culture of the Yoruba people, which we're going to come into and meet more of those in the thing. So again, you have to believe what you read in books, and they don't always give you the thing. But then again, this is modern Maasai versus somebody that wrote about the Maasai in the 30s and 40s when there was less, influence from the outside world and more of the original culture there. But yeah.
So yeah, Laurie's character Ofeo is a Yoruban, and that is the Yoruban culture is an actual thing. There is no actual place in Africa called Yoruba, but it's basically in the northwest central. So if you got the big bulge that's the western side of northern Africa, and you go inland from there.
Right. So here we have Tarna, which is basically Kenya. It's on the east coast
side,
and definitely in the jungle and the savanna areas. Whereas our next one, which will actually not be set there, but he came from there, is set in the Ivory Coast kind of area, well, inland from the Ivory Coast and that. Yes.
I wrote a school paper about Ghana when I was a teenager.
Yeah, all of these things actually influenced that. The world map was fun, new, and interesting. It took me a bit to adjust because I love the endless desert, but this game makes it work so well. Yeah, I thought we'd done the endless desert, and it gets a little monotonous after a while, and there's not much you could do.
Yeah, we wanted to make it a little more directed, so that basically when you're going through the savannah, we wanted to give the feeling that you're going a long ways and it's huge, but we didn't want you to just be wandering around randomly. We wanted to have more goal-directed.
So we went with the map, and
you can click on where you want to go.
I was very proud of what we were doing with this and that, and then we got the worst review I ever had for a game after this. It really hurt. It was Scorpia panned it. She hated the whole game, and it was like
on 3.
Yes,
I don't even remember
well,
that.
you don't remember it because it wasn't personally like a devastating to the heart that she said this was a horrible game. And part of it was probably the transition between point and click, which she grew up on point and click, and that.
No, she grew up on text
adventures, text adventure, and parsers, and how complex and those games are, and then the ease that the things are. All right, what do we got?
All right. Showed some research source books on some earlier stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why we were still home before we gave away all our books.
Yeah. Ah, good. You can get the book on the Maasai. Well, that one Maasai book is absolutely splendid, and I don't know if we still have it. I think we do. I think, but probably in the garage.
It's probably still in a box in the garage.
Yeah.
I just got out like computer
Tales
books
from
and
the
stuff.
Arabian Nights, though. We got here.
Really?
Okay, fine. It's not one of our major ones. Yes. Let's see. The split between the eastern part of the game and the western part of the game really drew me as a kid. It almost felt South American, like Legends of the Hidden Temple sort of thing. And
Which, of course, is what we're doing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And now the terror when you reach the easternmost reaches.
I don't remember.
Nothing wrong with linear, in my opinion. I think Quest for Glory 3 was my favorite as a kid because it was a bit easier, along with having a lovely setting. Only nuisance from memory was trying to trigger the leopard interaction. Oh, well. Yes. Did you ever think of having a Quest for Glory game that you could actually merge all locations? For instance, you could travel back to Tarna, Spielberg.
No. Well, actually, sort of.
Yeah.
We were going to do the world of Quest for Glory.
Yes.
And that would have had all the different lands you can travel to. And
Yes.
that would have been a massively multiplayer game with a massively multiplayer budget, which we didn't have.
Yeah, really. Transform all of Gloriana into Skyrims. Yes, that's going to be... The Quest for Glory 3 map wasn't my favorite, but what I like is that you mixed it up with different styles according to each's terrain. A screen-by-screen navigation of endless sand dunes makes sense in the desert, but it's a nice idea that in a complex forest you need a map. Actually, it's true about the savannah. You can get lost there too. Exactly. And, you know, I had a heck of a time learning Makala. Okay.
And I've had my own Mancala game for years now. I love it. It says...
Red
Octopus.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Red Octopus. Yeah, I had a Mancala board that I had gotten somewhere or other, probably as a teenager even.
Yeah, I had played it as a kid too, but we didn't call it Mancala then. It had
it was Awari was the other name for it.
Yes,
Awari,
I had Awari.
as opposed to Atari, which is something else entirely. And it was kind of a fun game, and the strategy is surprisingly complex because it seems really obvious at first, and then you discover that if you think that, you lose.
Roadworks says...
MMO hype of early 2000s.
Yes. We were trying to do MMOs far before their time.
Well, after Quest for Glory, Sierra canceled the series. We were working on Quest for Glory 5, and they decided that, they were in the process of moving everybody up to Bellevue and stuff, so they canceled that. And then the letter writing campaign came in. The new Yosemite Entertainment, which was in the same location as the old Sierra, but new management, decided they needed a sequel to one of their own games. Yeah. So Craig Alexander brought Lori and I in to a meeting, and they had, it was the MMO game now. The Realm. They had a game called The Realm, and they wanted to rebrand The Realm as World of Quest for Glory. And so I asked the developers, well, what have you done so far for quests? What tool set do you have for creating quests? And they looked at me and said, we haven't done any of that yet. We thought we'd kind of add that in at the end. And, to us, that's the entire game. So it was like, well, anything you have is not really a game engine if it doesn't have anything for designers to make, for developers to make quests. All right, tried walking. I thought it was a straight line. You have to turn slightly to walk around this bush or that. Before you know it, had to find some random Maasai village and try to communicate that I was lost. They'd help me get back. My guide explained that you look at landmarks. Like you see, this cliff is a tall tree at the top, and you're this close to it, and this far from the mountains on the other side, and that's how you navigate.
Wow.
Cool.
You were actually traveling around there? Oh, my gosh.
That is exactly how directions worked when we lived in the Oakhurst area.
Yeah.
People would say, turn right at the Talking Bear. Mm-hmm. And you're like, Talking Bear? Well, there was a fiberglass bear sculpture in front of a real estate office. You could press a button and have it tell you about California grizzly bears and real estate. Yes. And that was the big landmark in Oakhurst before they had traffic lights and stuff.
You were actually traveling there. You guys inspired me. Well, I'm really, really, that's taking it to the real world, and that's really, really wonderful. I'm very proud of you.
I don't think we'd want to do it today. I'd get so sick.
Oh, God. And I could just think it'd be hot.
Yes.
We're not very good at traveling.
We have troubles when it gets to 80, let alone...
Which it's 83 in here already. Yes. Yeah. I always thought Quest for Glory 3 was one of the best soundtracks in the series, other than 5, which was gone in its own league. Yes, good game music is so emotionally evocative years or decades later. I really like Quest for Glory 4. I mean, with the
so it's Rudy Helm for 3 and Aubrey Hodges
yes,
for 4 and Chance Thomas for 5.
Yes.
And then we had Mark Siebert did 1 and Chris Brayman and Mark Siebert, and I think somebody else worked
on 2. Yeah,
worked
there were
on
3
2.
people on that. So Joe Guardia.
And Ken Allen do any of that?
I don't know.
I don't know if he worked on any of our games.
It was 10 or so when I thought he did 3. I thought, well, part of 3.
Oh, Rudy, 3?
Yeah, when I was 10 or so, I played Quest for Glory 1 VGA and Quest for Glory 3. They left huge impressions on my gaming memories. I love the Savannah waffle when you were starving. Yes,
yeah, the awful waffle walker.
Walker,
We have told that story before, but it was the artist Mark Hudgens, as we frequently did, was in the office late at night, and he read something about Ego Walker at the top of a sheet, and Ego was our term for the player character for the Euro. And he misread it as Ego Walker, and so he decided to draw a walking waffle, and so showed it to Lori, who immediately had to incorporate it into the game.
That's why we have it there, yes. Oh, and Grieg. Yes, I liked Grieg in that. Let's see. So we have a first-timer, Cameron. Just finished Quest for Glory 3 on stream the other night.
Hey.
Hello and good morning to all. Did you actually record it? We could, give you a link if you're in YouTube for that. Art of Hero. No, it's Arlo Hero. Okay.
Arlo Hero.
I keep seeing Art of here from this distance. Yes. A lot of people
Arlo
say
Guthrie.
that they wouldn't want to do it. Yes, say that. I have a friend who thinks I wasted my money living with the last surviving hunter-gatherer tribe in the world. Wow. I think it's an invaluable experience. I expect to have some physical discomforts, but it's worth it.
And I hope you will do some write-ups and video on your experiences there, because that's got to be preserved and it's going away.
Yes, exactly. This is why we can
culture is being lost.
And yes, that's an incredible experience, and so much better and so much more than playing a game. Really, yeah.
I mean, my life experience when I was 15 years old, as I was an exchange student to Berlin, West Germany, which I kind of fell into because it was so disorganized that the parents of the other children, one by one, yanked their children out of the program, and I was the last one whose parents didn't really care what I did. If I wanted to do something, he said, go ahead. So as part of the thing, I did a couple of side trips, and one of them was a trip to Copenhagen from a travel agency in Berlin, and I got on the train, had to cross over at Checkpoint Charlie. That wasn't Checkpoint Charlie, but basically ended up at the Friedrichstrasse train station, which is gigantic. They've got like 12 tracks going out of there. Found the track for my train, and I was early. You gave yourself extra time, so I missed your train, and proceeded to get on the wrong train. And met some of the communists at the time, East Germans, who were just wonderful people and helped me get straightened out, and got back off the train and eventually ended up in Copenhagen. Meanwhile, the people at the hotel were horrified because this was a tour mostly for German travelers, and a West German who got stuck in East Germany would not be in as good a shape. Mm-hmm. So they were terrified that something had happened to me. I was at that point, 15 or 16. But it was just wonderful to be on my own in Berlin. I had a host family and so on, but I wandered around a lot. Went on a couple side trips. The other side trip I went to was London. And the third one was a class trip down to Rome. These are experiences stay with you. In Rome, I learned about the catacombs. I actually visited one of the catacombs.
Oh, cool.
And that, influenced some things we put into games later. So, and you can get out at all. Try to experience things different from just living day to day and, going to school, going to work. There's a whole world out there.
Canada Heat says Quest for Glory music is my go-to to gamify my chores, along with Monkey Island music, which is I can really hear it with Monkey Island music. It's the right right tempo.
I should probably start listening to that,
Yeah,
since my
yeah.
chores largely remain undone. I've got a stack of paperwork here. I'm almost ready to file my 2021 income tax. That's not totally my fault, though.
Neffy. Is a 44-year-old mom and still listens to game music for chores and grocery runs. Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, we go to YouTube, and Lori especially, we look for these long ones that's like light classical music or soundtracks, so on, 10 hours of Lord of the Rings music or whatever.
Yeah, I was listening to Jurassic Park while I was writing this one, I remember.
I was listening to dark royalty music, and I have no idea whether that's a TV show or whatever.
I have no clue that.
But it was all classical music.
And what is it? The album from Last Mohicans, which I love, but it was awfully repetitious.
Yeah, we got a little tired of that after the 100th or so playthrough.
My favorite part of Quest for Glory 3 was a cameo from the Blue Cerebus from the Aardvarks, yes.
Yeah. So we enjoyed reading Cerebus the Aardvark. Dave Sims kind of politically went off in a direction we didn't approve of, and so we sort of got away from that. But
Golden Drake says, "Greetings to the glorious goals." Yes, thank you.
Oh,
and hello,
yes.
Chad, with a corgi head, or at least.
Yeah, we liked Cerebus. Cerebus, of course, was a big play on Conan the Barbarian and
we
all
thought
those
that
stories.
Fit in.
And Terry Pratchett did a great play on Conan with Conan the Barbarian, which is this old Jewish guy, barbarian, and he's got one of his later books done in graphic novel form was about, what was it called?
The Last Hero.
Yeah, it was about Cohen and the other former barbarian heroes. They're all now toothless in their 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
And trying to have their final adventure.
To my mind, one of the greatest of books, and it's one you really should read if you get a chance.
I highly recommend it. Last Hero, Sir Terry Pratchett.
Yes, I remember being mystified by the trance sequence at the Temple of Sekhmet. Yeah, that one I really liked the idea of, trying to, I don't know, just give you a magical experience. Huh?
Yeah, it was based on a few things, I think. One of which is the the tarot reading that the Gypsy fortune teller does at the Ultima 4 to help you choose your character class, and we pulled on that again with the Gypsy camp in Quest for Glory 4. But the other thing was there's this thing they called guided imagery, and it was used to help people kind of psychoanalyze or work with a partner.
Yes.
To
what do these
solve
symbols
problems.
mean? Yes.
Yeah, and but they would often start with a story of you're walking down a path into a woodlands, and there's a burbling stream nearby, and the birds are singing, and and then kind of get you into that mood where it's like auto hypnosis almost.
Yeah. So that's what we were
so that's what
yes.
yeah. Those two influences.
All right. Arlo Hero says it's something else when you've had something like Quest for Glory inspire you. So your ideas of living your life to the fullest is traveling the world, and then you go further at it than you ever thought possible. I used to dream of doing things like climbing Vesuvius or standing between the jaws of the Sphinx or being baptized in the same spot as Jesus, but I always assumed that they'd never happen. Now I've done all of those things.
Awesome!
Yes.
It's like I could get hit and I'd die happy.
You are amazing, yes.
Yeah, well, we've wanted to do all those things, and because we got into the game development business, it doesn't pay so well. We've never done any of them.
Yes.
But earlier in our life, we had done some travel. I travel for business and stuff like that, and we used to travel to World Science Fiction conventions once in a while, but not much out of the U.S.
Yes.
Lori got to go to the one in Toronto, and I didn't even make that, but I worked in Canada for a year, so I had my Canadian experiences. Love Canada. I was in both Western Canada and Vancouver, and also in the Toronto area.
Cameron is saying I'm playing a magic user, Frederick, yeah. Frederick. Yes, and importing my hero through the game by game. So far, the Kobold Mage's Duel, Wit, and the Leopardman Shaman contest have been the highlights of Fred's career on stream. Good for Fred, yes. Oh, I grew up in Budapest, and communists fell when I was 11.
On the Phil?
When the borders opened, East Germans poured in to cross into Austria and West Germany. There was such an atmosphere of celebration in the city. We all watched the falling of the Berlin Wall,
that was
and were
amazing.
just so thrilled.
So yeah, I remember that I was there in 1969, I guess it was. 1970 to 71. I was in West Berlin, and got to travel into East Germany, and it was the experience that, like, as soon as I got into some plaza or something in East Germany, East Berlin, I got surrounded by people that wanted to know if I had brought any Western goods to sell, if they could, buy some blue jeans or something like that. And I remember buying a classical record album in a store, and it came on this vinyl that was so thin and flexible, as opposed to, I was used to the really hard vinyl of American records, and just little things like that really was, a very poor country, but they also were fascinated by things Western. And I believe I would have been breaking the law if I had sold them anything. One of the rules traveling into East Berlin is you had to exchange at least a certain amount of West German marks into East German marks at the official exchange rate, which was not at all the real value of them, and you could not exchange them back when you left. So I was trying to get some hard Western currency into East Germany. So it's definitely really interesting life experiences there.
I'm not the only one left who hasn't done taxes yet.
I actually got my taxes to the accountant barely on time, and then it took her months to complete my taxes because with Transor games and stuff, ours is too complicated for me to do. And just got the
this
returns.
From a math major.
Yeah.
Not an economics major, but a math major.
I mean, I used to do it myself with TurboTax, but I learned my lesson when the one year I used a professional tax accountant that I knew from playing bridge, and he found all kinds of deductions and stuff, and basically saved us about $1,500 that year.
Yeah, you really have to go to a professional.
So I say, okay, you spend $300 on an accountant, and they save you a couple thousand. It's definitely worth it.
The temple was really cool. I would play through it over and over like Choose Your Own Adventures book, and of course very pretty swirly colors. Yes, that's exactly the kind of thing we wanted to, or I wanted to accomplish there.
We recapped that when we did the when Lori did the School for Heroes website.
Well, we didn't do the symbol. We did
do
symbols.
We did.
We did do symbols. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically you had to do a test of 20 questions. That defined what your hero class would be if you were living in the Quest for Glory world. And then we assigned you a class, and then you took, courses and so on online for it. But one of the questions involved just flashing up a series of symbols and having you choose the one that appealed to you. And of course, if you chose the key, then that meant you were probably a rogue. If you chose the shield, you were a paladin. The sword, you were a warrior, and so on.
Budapest is so lovely. Great mummeries. Yes, I've seen pictures of it. It's gorgeous. I'd love to see it. Yes. I haven't finished my taxes either. Did the extension. Super complicated this year. Yes,
yep.
That's a problem.
They're getting about due even if you took the extension.
Yes. I love the temple.
I think mid-August. Is that the deadline?
I was kind of, what the heck is this? Yeah, really. I don't think it affected anything, did it?
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so one of the things, the big innovation that Lori did from other Sierra games is she came up with two concepts, one of which were flags, so that stuff you did was noted and flagged, and some of those flags you saved between games if you saved the game, and it was later that we realized we had to cope with people that started in the middle of the series. And the other thing were what she called events, and that basically we had a script for a room, and instead of the room having one set of interactions and one event that happens there, it might have 8 events or 6 events, and each of those 6 events were different things that were going on there. So all the dialogue changed. It essentially was like a different room. So we might have 50 or 60 rooms in a game, but it would feel like 300.
So it's good to know that you really found out that those choices really did affect the game, because I can't remember now exactly what they were doing. So, but that's how we do things. The Sekhmet's Temple gave the player paladin points, probably because there would be questions that would be ethical questions and things.
Oh, the other thing they were inspired by was the Ravenloft D&D tabletop module, and that had a gypsy fortune teller that was used as a way of randomizing the game. So when you did the tarot card reading with her, you might come up with a card that is something about a dungeon or something like that, and it basically determined where the location of Strahd, the vampire villain, was, and some other characters and events in the game. When Lori ran that, we didn't want to deal with all that, so we stacked the deck.
Yeah,
so she did a tarot reading where she already knew how the reading was going to come out, and that allowed her to role play her fortune teller a little better.
I only spell incense correctly because I failed it so many times in Quest for Glory 2. Yes! Oh,
well, I learned the word supersede from reading a Superboy comic, Action Comics or whatever, when I was a kid. Not Lana Lang. Who's the other LL character?
Lana Lang.
Lois
Lang.
No, Lois Lane. Lana Lang and Lois Lane. Anyway, whoever it was that was Superboy's, Clark Kent's friend in school.
Okay.
Lana.
Lana was in school.
Was it Lana? Okay. Lana recognized that he had misspelled a word in the spelling test that Clark Kent never would have gotten wrong, and that's how she eventually determined that somebody was impersonating Clark Kent.
Oh my gosh, no.
Supersede, by the way, is spelled with an S where you would expect to see a C.
It's funny how many of us are only literate because we grew up playing Sierra games. I was a terrible speller. I never, I was a creative speller. I didn't spell very well. I read extremely fast, so I don't actually look at the words. So therefore, I didn't memorize spellings from looking at words because I got the whole gist of it from a gestaltism type of thing.
Whereas I am all the child of my 6th grade teacher.
Yes.
Because what he did is we had the spelling things where we would basically, try to memorize the spelling list, and then you would work with a partner, and the partner would read the words and you spell them. And I got through those, and then eventually I got through all of the spelling lists for the that he had for the school year. So at that point, instead of letting me slide, he set me down with an SRA self-teaching spelling course. It was all flashcards and stuff, and then I went from there. Once I finished that, instead of letting me slide, he gave me a college spelling textbook and had me learn all the words in the college level spelling. And then the last 2 weeks of class, he finally gave me that as time off in that period, the spelling period.
Because he ran out of things for you to do.
Yeah, but that basically soaked in, and I became a really good speller the rest of my life.
Name all the vocabulary words in mythology you learned from Quest for Glory. We put everything we knew in it.
Yeah.
And first time grunt wave, so we'll wave back.
Hey, grunt,
yes,
grunt
yes.
them.
Yes. Tinderbox, rations, ha. Ooh, the tarot card system.
I think a grunt was equivalent to a corporal or something in World of Warcraft.
Ah.
They're level 2.
Is it really?
I think,
thought grunt was.
No, I think grunt is level 2.
Okay. Ooh, the tarot system returns in the 5th edition Ravenloft hardcover, Curse of Strahd.
Good.
Good, because that
Card-based
was good.
scenario changes and surprises. Yes.
I got to Ravenloft a bit, but that was through Dragonlance. Yes.
Yeah, when
I definitely learned vocabulary from Leisure Larry 3.
Bill Kuhn learned Supersede from the Charlie Brown Spelling Bee special.
Okay.
Libon, Paladin, Dispel. So in Quest for Glory 2, when you run into townspeople and their most common phrase is "mafimpt," that Lori actually picked out of a phrase book. It basically just means, "I don't understand you."
Effendi, yes. Effendi. I knew the word Effendi because my high school teacher, one of my he taught no, not high school, junior high. He was a social studies class, and he was this old guy, and he would ramble, and he'd tell us about the time he had gone to India or in the Middle East, and they were all saying Sahib and Fendi and things like that, and how they would greet him, and he would tell these rambling stories, and that kept in my mind, so I knew the word Effendi when I came across it. It's like, yeah.
Alan says, I know I'm not the only non-native English speaker who learned and used English in CR games. And we've gotten fan letters from a number of players back in the days when people used to write physical letters that basically said they learned how to spell and they learned how to use English from our games.
Tundra Ice says he can't spell anything due to relying on MS Word and Outlook. The word bureaucracy usually takes me about 50. It does for me too. But what I like is the fact that they did find the word you're spelling, even if you were spelling it wrong, because I tend to, do phonetically, and sometimes the word I'm spelling doesn't look at all like the word it is, and so therefore it's good that the MS Words, and it actually taught me how to spell better because I hate making mistakes, so I would notice these things. Yes.
Arlo says they no longer use the word Effendi.
Yes, of course.
And Arabic, you say ya before addressing someone. Should be such and such, ya Effendi.
Huh. Well, that makes sense. I mean, remember though.
Want to split? Yes, that was our death message.
Yeah.
Or that was our quitting. If you decide to quit, they say, want to split?
Yes, those Effendi. Of course, I was reading a 40-year-old, at the time, a 40-year-old book on Arabic language. So therefore, it's all dated.
First, I remember hearing that was offensive.
And I'm hearing it from somebody that's a Englishman over there, so you know what his opinion of these things are. Yeah. Unless you're an uber speed reader like Lori, I think the more you read, the better your spelling tends to be. Probably, unless you have the uber speed. My family had an uber speed. It was genetic. I had a cousin who read just like me, even though we didn't grow up in the same school.
I took a speed reading class in adult school at my high school, and my father did it with me. And they had a thing where basically you had a piece of paper or something you used to cover it so you couldn't see anything in advance. And that was to help you focus on the current line and so on. And I was pretty fast at that. I don't remember what my speed rating was, but it was, I was up there. And then my father basically cranked the machine up to the maximum speed and read it. He basically, almost broke the machine.
Because he could read.
He could read as fast as the machine could give it to him. And Lori is probably about where my father was.
No, because I couldn't do that because there's a difference. I don't actually pronounce words either when I'm reading like that, and so therefore I can't.
And she skips all the poetry and all the illustrations.
Yeah. Lori is so smart; she's unable to learn how to spell words when she reads. Yes, there we go. Centene, apothecary, yay! I have a spelling checker. It came with my PC. It plainly marks for my review mistakes I cannot see. Yes, indeed. Oh, and Aziza was the first person to teach me manners. Yes, she was our Miss Manners, yes. Speaking of spelling and learning, I used to tell my parents that Sierra games were educational, so they would buy them for me. Exactly, they were.
Such as Leisure Suit Larry. It's educational. I'm learning to pick up girls.
Well, perhaps not that one. Yeah.
Well, you do learn how to take an airsick bag and combine it with something else to make a bomb or something like that.
Roadworks Gaming says he played, he wanted educational games, so he ended up getting both. Very privileged. Did you play the Super Solvers games back then? I don't know.
Super Solvers, don't make nice that. I used to get brain teaser books when I was...
Oh, Murdochtopus is saying goodbye. He's going off to the beach, no. You poor thing.
You have a lovely time there.
Yeah, have fun.
Don't get murdered by any octopi.
Or watch out for stingrays. They're rampant on the
and
Pacific.
sharks.
Yeah, sharks. Yeah,
where are the sharks?
Yeah.
Candaheed's dad wanted Leisure Suit Larry. He said, "Sal, she was able to ask him for other games."
Yeah.
She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. She was able to ask him for other games. I first encountered Soft Porn Adventure, the predecessor to Leisure Suit Larry, at a Mensa
I've
party.
still not played Dr. Brain. Oh no.
Oh, well, you should.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things about Dr. Brain, when you go between floors in the castle, uh, I have a actual 3D maze. It's on multiple levels, as opposed to just being 3D perspective. And I get some kind of hate mail about that. People playing it on the internet, but I was so proud of that. That was one that I said this. Instead of just having a first-person perspective, let's have you have a first-person's perspective where it's really 3D. You have to go up and down as well as left and right, and really thought that was clever and creative, but it is very challenging. And people that are doing it purely by rote are going to find it tedious.
Yep.
I'm from the school, playing wizardry and such that, while you're playing the game, you make maps on graph paper to play it. If you don't do that, you're not a real player.
Yes. There were genuinely educational ones in the Discovery series. Yes, I'm currently playing EcoQuest 1 with my Tilly the Rogue. Yes, that's a real name. Who just turned 5.
Yay for Tilly!
Yes.
And so that was about the time Lori announced the series when she was born. So it takes us 5 years to make a game anymore. It used to take us a year. Got some anatomy lessons in Leisure Suit Larry games, not necessarily accurate ones.
Yes,
and he had Soft Porn Adventure too.
No idea what it was. We had a bunch of people over. A bunch
of other Infocom games.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Sorry, I scrolled.
You did. You scrolled, and I'm trying to make sense of what it was. So I put it and we was like 8. Whoop! Did you not see the porn part of the name? It was a kid, a girl kid who had no idea what it was. Yes, I can imagine. Yes.
So good old Larry.
So what else did we? Oh yeah, so yeah, the second half was off of Tarzan of the game. We're back to
Quest of Glory 3. Back to that one.
Yes, and the concept that the people that you interacted with in the course of the game really, mattered, and the things you did really mattered, and that's why you have the characters coming back.
And the monkey.
Yes, and the monkey. I call her a rogue because she could pick locks for real. She could open a locked door knob from the other side of with a handle of a fork.
Oh.
That's tricky. That's definitely tricky. Trying to get a fork that's small enough.
Well, if it's those ones that have the little screwdriver slot type thing,
you can. But forks are not the easiest.
Not the best tool for that. No.
This is why Laser Suit Larry served a genuinely important purpose. Yeah. Well.
Jewish space lasers.
Al didn't put much more than the M-rated stuff in there with the original Leisure Suit Larry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just mature. Yes.
So, like the big sex scene with the prostitute early in the game, it says a black box over it, and.
My parents took me to the Fly when I was 8. Lol. It's important for your parents to accidentally expose you to weird things when you're young.
Well, we exposed Michael to a Julia Ecklar song, "Temper of Revenge," when he was a baby, and that's a rather dark song.
And I can't forget the time we took the preschool group went to see Batman, the sequel, Batman Returns, the one with Catwoman and the Joker. The Penguin, and it was so horrific at points. And I'm saying we brought a bunch of, little kids, and exposing if this is fine for me, and it's fine for my kid, but I'm sure there are parents that have no idea what their kids are getting into. Yeah.
Just before Lori went into labor with her cousin Charles, we all watched Q.
He had given us some video
the
tapes.
Quetzalcoatl movie.
We watched awful horror movies and things, dumb movies. Yes. A copy of Quest for Glory 1, then called Heroes Quest, brought at a flea market when I was a wee lad. Turned me into an adventure game fan for life. Love you guys. Well, thank you, Snoo. What's Snoo with you? Yes. My class went to that one in 6th grade. Traumatized, lol. Yeah, I think these kids were a little too young to be traumatized, but, the idea that skeletons, when we were kids, those were scary things. Nowadays, you're seeing, characters without any skin and things like that. Oh, that's just what you see.
We moved into a rental house in Abington, Pennsylvania when I was a kid, and had these old-fashioned doors. And my parents explained to me that they used skeleton keys to open them, and I was visualizing, actual skeletons somehow, and figured the house was haunted, and that's why they used skeleton keys.
Yep. Batman Returns was a very scary M-rated movie. It was a very scary M-rated movie and pretty grotesque and things. And the Penguin was very grotesque. So never underestimate the power of movies to just gross you out, even though you're an adult. So
we have a fave non-QFG adventure game. That I don't tell if you pick it on Sierra game. Well, it's probably the sequel to Monkey Island.
Yeah, Monkey Island would definitely be on that thing.
Monkey Island 2 was really good also, but we didn't like the ending of it.
Yeah, we didn't like the character change between the
Yeah.
wannabe hero to the jerk that he was in the
Right.
second book.
Yeah, so Guybrush is a little sweeter and more naive and innocent at the
Yeah.
first game.
So, yep. It's hard to top Monkey Island. It is.
What else? Do you play any other adventure games?
games?
I played Colossal Cave, and I played Zork.
Yes, the earlier ones, but
The text
not
adventures.
too many of the visual text. I mean, Loom, and then, of course, Indiana Jones. And
Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis was a really good game.
Yes.
Um,
I'm so nervous about excited about the new game of Monkey Island. So much potential, so much room to go awry. That is just it. It's very scary because, the designer's going to do exactly what the designer thinks they want this game to be, that's going to please them and please the audience. And, it's all personal taste.
Of Sierra games, probably my favorite is Conquest of the Longbow, although I don't think I finished it.
Yeah. The Fate of Atlantis should have been the movie instead of Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull was awful, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Last game, Thimbleweed Park was pretty great too.
I
still got it
supported,
good.
yeah, I supported Thimbleweed Park on Kickstarter, and I do have a copy of it, but I haven't gotten around to playing it.
I loved the Laura Bow mysteries and thought they should have put out more titles in that series. I thought that was a good series, and it was. And I mean, Amon Ra looked great, so I really wish they had gone with that.
I didn't really play anything for Gabriel Knight.
No.
I did play a little bit about one that I had like a garden maze or something I was trying to solve. I don't remember the details.
I can't wait for the Monkey Island game.
There's like a...
Tired of fighting over the art style. Yes, exactly. I don't think Crystal Skull was as bad as people made it out to be. I don't think we saw Crystal Skull, Corey, honestly.
Oh, is that not the one?
You're talking number 2. The two with the China and the monkey brains. And,
eating the monkey brains out of it was like...
And the gratuitous cave full of all sorts of bugs. It was like, oh, that's creepy, and I don't like looking at it, and it's just gratuitous grossness. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there's a way of introducing, exoticism in a story. So like the monkey brain thing could have been fine, but the way they did it was like they were hitting the viewer over the head with it, and it's like it's monkey brains. It's like okay, why didn't you just have that as a a little.
Hey, we got the sheep eyes in stew thing. I got that from the ancient movie The Brass Bottle, about the genie in the bottle.
Okay,
I got
there you
that
go.
from that one. Yes.
We liked. Lori's a big fan of The Court Jester with Danny
Those
Kaye.
are movies, though.
It's a movie.
We were on.
I was going into movies. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. First, Indiana Jones: The Graphic Adventure is also better researched than most fans realize.
Yeah, I think I really liked the first Indiana Jones game.
Yeah. There were so many third-party adventure games in the 90s, such as Rex Nebula and Mad Dog Madigan, that have so much more popularity now, yes.
Do they?
And I love the Laura Bow games, and in the 90s it meant a lot to me to have a game with a female protagonist, yeah.
Yay! We wanted to have 3 more protagonists in ours. We kept being told there's not enough budget for it.
Yeah. They could, once
we
we
wanted
got started.
we wanted the choice.
Yes. Just saw Game Grumps LP live LP
I don't know. Live play?
Live play.
Long play.
Long play of Gabriel Knight. Not sure I'd have enjoyed it as much as a game, but as a long movie, it was excellent. That's, I think, the right way to do that one. Yes. Was
That's
it
what the pestle is. The brew that is true. Yes, that's from Court Jester.
Yes. What was the style in change in style in Dragonfire something you wanted to do, or was it a more corporate thing? It was a choice. I wanted to get the game to go more real, true role playing, but the change in art style, it changed art style several times.
Well, part of the issue there was, we mentioned the 2-year gap in Quest for Glory before Quest for Glory 3. Whereas we had like a 4-year gap between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And the company basically felt that, so we had the discussion with the other engineers and with management. They said basically, the proscenium stage of the SCI games would feel really dated and the resolution was low. And they really thought it should be upgraded. And the question was, should we try to improve SCI and still use the same basic system, or should we do an entirely new game in C++? And we all voted for doing an entirely new game. And perhaps if I knew then what I know now, I would have said, let's make it go with the same graphic style of Quest for Glory 4.
I was always looking for a female protagonist in game, which is why King's Quest 4 caught my attention and got me into the fandom. Yes, indeed. Rosella, yes.
King's Quest 4 got some hate mail about, why are you making us play a girl? But it was also the most popular King's Quest to that point.
Yep.
So it did really well, and it was really good having Rosella as the hero for that.
The thing is, I didn't like Laura Bow that came across as that different from playing a male character. Yeah, well, it was written by a guy. And even the first one mostly was written by a guy with Roberta,
Was Bruce Balfour write the first one?
No, he did the second.
Okay.
And the first one was mostly, what's his face, the artist, the guy on Quest for Glory that worked with Shannon with us. Doug Herring did an awful lot of influence.
I knew
on
he
the story,
had a lot of influence, but
yes. So therefore, yes, they were male writers there.
Well, Lorelei Shannon worked on one or both of them.
No.
I thought, no?
No, she didn't. Balfour wrote all of Laura. Well, let's see. Much more than Katrina did. Well, Katrina never got much of a... She didn't want to be a woman at that point, She didn't want to be feminine or...
Thank you.
Thank you.
A Sinu.
Yeah.
Skanu.
The novelization of Gabriel Knight was good, and I enjoyed it. That's probably, that I should read that one, because that was by the author of the game. What do you know?
Dan
they actually,
Johnson.
yes. Sorry, I meant to say King's Quest, not Quest Glory 4, yeah.
Oh, okay, so we're talking about Rosella rather than Katrina?
I don't know.
No. I don't know, we're all getting confused.
Yes. Facepalm moment, oh no. Same. If you were ever on the message boards, I loved that there were so many female players because it was such a rarity in my country. It was a rarity in everybody's country because, they didn't pay attention to the female players.
Yeah, they felt that all gamers were actually adolescent males.
Yes.
And the idea that there were a lot of game players still playing games in their 20s and 30s, and that there were a lot of women playing, and in fact there were senior citizens playing. It took a while for the industry to pick
realize
up.
that, yes.
And some companies still don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, Sierra did notice that the women were playing the games about that time. That's about the time we brought in a couple of the women off the BBS.
Sierra periodically sent out surveys to the game players and asked them some marketing type questions and found out, demographics and such.
I think part of the game was trying to get across was that Laura was able to do as much snooping as she did because she was female and therefore underestimated. That's interesting, yes.
I've heard about that from female poker professionals that they get, and bridge professionals, that they get underestimated and therefore manage to pull off some plays.
The irony is that the pixel graphics of the earlier games hold up better than those early 3D polygonal games. I love Dragonfire, don't get me wrong. Graphics of that era in general are just as hard for me to go back to now. Haha. I can't stand looking at Quest for Glory 5. It's god awful in its graphics. I hated what the characters wound up looking like. We had great characters. We had beautiful backgrounds. It was state of the art then. It was great. And then we kept having to change everything again and again, and we had to redo things, and therefore.
Yeah. So I went to a presentation by a couple of Russians that were pushing voxel technology, and our brilliant lead programmer Eric Lengel says we don't need to license that. I can make you a voxel engine, and he did, and it was really cool until about a year or two into development when we gave a demo for the heads of the studio, and the studio had immediately moved the character all the way into the extreme foreground, so he's filling up 3/4 of the screen, and the frame rate dropped to about 2 frames per second.
Yeah.
And
It wasn't practical.
said, okay, that doesn't work. So went back to the drawing board, and Eric created a polygon engine. And the problem is that the artists had all been told that they had an unlimited polygon budget, because polygon count doesn't matter when you're converting to voxels. And so all of our characters were very detailed with unlimited polygons, and that, a homebrew polygon engine, it's really cool that he could do it, but it was not up to the level of polish of something like Unreal Engine. And so we had to go down to a very low poly count on the characters, and they look like crap.
Yeah, I think I love the game. I think it had great potential. I thought it was going the way I wanted to, but visually I can't stand it. Yes. Yes, the underestimated female. Laura Bow. Oh, one of your guests is dead. Don't barge into my room, young lady. I see. Did Quest for Glory 3 sell well? Which Quest for Glory sold best? Probably the first one, relative
Well, if
to
you combine the original Heroes Quest release with the Quest for Glory 1 VGA release, then definitely the first game sold the best.
Well, that's two games, so that doesn't actually count.
It's 2 games, but it's basically the same game.
All right. So
As far as development goes, okay, so people think, okay, you need to just sort of paint over the game. And that's what we thought. We thought we were going to do kind of a color by numbers
remake would be
remake
easy.
and that would be easy. And it actually turned out that the budget on Quest for Glory 1 VGA was about double or triple the cost of the original game.
Yeah. So yes, which sold the best was the question, though.
I think possibly 5 was the next highest. 1 sold really well. 2 did not sell well at all. I don't know about 3.
Yeah, we didn't always get the numbers. We did know that. Well, we know we got the awards for selling over 100,000 with 1. We got over 100 with 2.
Lori made the most royalties from 1.
Yeah, well, that's because the royalties kept changing on me.
Well, it was also because the sales were very high.
Yes,
and
but
they
no,
didn't,
relative to
hide them.
what I had, yes. I love that whole era of Sierra, from for King's Quest, I keep calling it Quest for Glory, through to the Kernelsby Quest, Leisure Suit 2 and 3, and finally Trial by Fire. The EGA aesthetic is just so beautiful and nostalgic for me. It is beautiful, I will go that. They still think all gamers are adolescent males. Yes, I know, unfortunately. So there's no shooters or no match 3 games, not much in between, yes. So there's shooters or match 3 games, not much in between, yes. That's crazy, isn't it? And there's other games.
There's actually a fair variety out there, because I made the statement that the game industry had been taken over by first-person shooters, and someone very quickly corrected me and started listing strategy games and and sports games. It started rattling off categories and trivia games and so on. There really are quite a variety of games out there. I mean, Wordle's one of the most popular things right now, but that's the super casual game.
I wish the multiplayer Quest for Glory 5 had gone through. It would have been very interesting. It would have been, and it would have been a different game, and I would have had to redesign the whole thing.
Yeah, the question is, would we have gotten enough time and budget to do it right?
Well, yes, it was supposed to be multiplayer to begin with. It
was
supposed
5,
to be, 5 was supposed to be multiplayer, and it was clear that the multiplayer stuff wasn't getting done, so therefore I got it more and more trying to do it as single player, and eventually it became totally single player, yes. If you had done a Quest for Glory 6, how would you have dressed the hero now being a hero? being a king? Would you have treated him with any pomp or showed his kingdom in Samaria, or would you have treated it like Quest for Glory 3/5, where people call him the Prince of Shapir, but he's still in an unknown land where no one really cares or has to prove himself?
We would have tried to
There
really...
were two types of approaches we were going to take with that.
Yeah.
The one was having the sequels, a whole series of sequels, but where you're playing the offspring of the hero. That's the real way we wanted to go.
And then they could be beginners again.
They could be beginners again. They're, what was your father? What was the character you played? Who did he marry? So did he marry Katrina? So does he have a wizard character? Does he have more of a paladin character? All of those things depended on who you married and who you played. And so therefore your child is the offspring of that character that you loved. So we would have gone that approach. The other approach was a direct sequel when we had a chance.
So we're talking about expansion packs.
Expansion packs, yes.
And
so
expansion packs, the Quest for Glory 5 would have been set in the Mediterranean Sea, the Med Sea, and we talked about having kind of a Iliad, Odyssey, kind of an Odyssey sort of thing, where you'd have the skeletal pirates, Jason and the Golden Fleece kind of thing, that sort of storyline.
Where you're
Amazon
playing
stuff.
the king, but you got to go on adventures.
And I think you would be the king, but it's just like Odysseus is in the Odyssey, and what the heck is the king doing on board that ship? But and comes back and finds his kingdom in disarray because he wasn't there.
Well, that's why it was so great to have the Sierra boards, where actual players were chatting. You could tell how much more diverse this fan base was than the industry seemed to think. So one of many, the best Sierra fan sites were run by women, like Sierra Planet.
I don't remember that one. We do remember Quest for Glory, which still exists, and that's a woman who calls herself Elsa.
Mm-hmm. Quest 2 didn't sell well. That's my favorite one.
Well, I'm glad you loved it. So 2 had a lot of strikes against it right from the start. So we had this game called Heroes Quest, and got it out the door, at which point Games Workshop in England said, we have this board game called Advanced Hero Quest, and Heroes Quest is too close to that, and we've licensed it out for a computer game.
Okay, so we had to change the name.
So we had to change the name. So number one was we changed to Quest for Glory, and we were not allowed to advertise that it was a sequel to Heroes Quest. Number two is we were Sierra's last 16-color EGA game and parser game in the era of King's Quest V was their first full 256-color game. And the graphics didn't match up. People love the full color of EJ graphics, and they love the simplicity of play of the point and click.
Yeah, so therefore it was the last of a dinosaur era. It was the real 16-color parser games.
And there was probably a third reason, but yeah, anyway.
Yes.
So, no, it did not do well. It was a huge drop-off from Heroes Quest.
Did you ever think about adding another unlockable class during besides Paladin? No, we didn't actually consider that. We do know we wanted to do
We
the Paladin.
discussed whether we wanted to, and pretty much said, no, we've got enough classes.
I honestly love Dragonfire. The music made up for its many flaws and made it so memorable. The music was just superior, wonderful. Speaking of Lake Tahoe, the first time I ever came here, the rental cabin had Heroes Quest in the games cupboard, and I was like, what on earth is this?
Do some Googling, and I realized that's why you all had to change the name. Oh, they had the board game.
Yeah.
They had the Hero Quest board game, yeah. We did actually buy Advanced Hero Quest just to see what it was all about. It's kind of a fun game, but we only played it like once because it takes too much setup time and stuff.
Mm-hmm. The board game. I figured then after that, yes. Okay, so let's see. Hi, Valiant Cheese. Let's play a game since Valiant Cheese showed up.
Okay, the actual Advanced Hero Quest video game came out more than a year after Heroes Quest, so they really should not have had precedence.
Hero Quest, not Heroes Quest, for the board game, yes.
Advanced Hero Quest.
Yes. Well, there was a Hero Quest.
I don't think there ever was a Hero Quest. I've only heard of Advanced Hero Quest. Of course, it was sort of like Advanced Dungeons & Dragons.
Whoever knew the first game was Quest for Glory. You have what's your favorite music theme from the games? I randomly put Henry the Hermit's theme in my head to this day.
Arana's Peace, of course.
The
hero theme, and what was the song for the Dryad Woods in 5?
Yeah, the song of, yes, that one.
But yeah, there's a lot of songs that really stood out in the soundtrack.
If Games Workshop ever puts out anything out called Quest for Glories, be sure to sue the pants off of
Dance
them.
of Mystery and Intrigues.
Yes, that's it, yeah. I think that was beautiful. I liked the dance, Shima's dance.
So do you want to do the game of
Yes,
this or a participatory game?
I thought we'd do a participatory. Did
Okay.
you? If you did the Offspring route, continuing series, Nawar and the Hero's Offspring would have been very interesting storyline-wise. Yes, I thought it would be very fun to go that route. Maybe the Rite of Valor also. That's a pretty awesome music there.
Are we doing a queue or free-for-all?
We'll do a queue to set these things going.
Okay, so we are going to play a game by popular request. I gotta get rid of these ones from last time. Okay, phrase flummoxer. Type !play to join. I guess I should put this up desktop.
Yeah.
Here's the phrase flummoxer. This is a phrase chosen from one of our games, and that you're going to guess letters, sort of like Wheel of Fortune or like Hangman, and we will show you which letters go in there or not. If you get right letters, you can keep playing until you get out of right letters.
This brilliant interface was set up by Valiant Cheese.
Cheese Nest, yes, Valiant Cheese, who is playing. So yes, play your own game. And I'm going to pick some names, and we're going to start asking for letters. First 3 names: Schumann 3D Blast, SC New, and Tundra Ice. Each of you, please type in 2 or 3 letters that I will.
2 letters. 2 letters.
2 letters.
Initially,
Okay.
yes. One of my favorite tracks with piano-based nighttime music for Samaria. I could listen to that on the
Need to get rid of the space, Kanita.
yeah, you can't. Yeah, it doesn't recognize.
Okay, Schumann wants a QZ. Is there a Q? There are no Qs. There are no Zs.
He said J if they were doing that. So
Well, I'll give you a J because all 3 of those are not in the phrase.
You successfully found letters.
3 lost letters. Tundra Ice wants an S and a T. Like
Samaria Days and Nights is great on repeat. And Snoo says no.
N-O. All those. N-O-S-T is all in there. Nost.
Candaheed's Wi-Fi is hanging. Kanita did the right play. Yeah, you're on the list now. Okay,
Yep.
let's see. So who's still in?
5. You're number 8.
Tundra's Ice is still going. Snoo is going. And who's next? Because we lost Schumann.
We lost Schumann. Thunder Ice wants another ST.
Wise choice.
And Roadworks Gaming wants an AE. Here you have some of the most common letters in the English alphabet. A Talon Shurdlu is the phrase I remember for that, for the first 12 letters.
They don't work with real words because they're skewed by certain phrases.
Well, Wordle is a little different because...
Yeah. Tundra says, if.
IF. Those are both in there. You're still alive. Keep going.
And so is Roadworks Gaming, and so is...
Roadworks Gaming, we hadn't actually chosen, but it's
Snoo
fine.
says LM.
LM.
He was next on the list, so...
LM and another ST for Thunder Ice.
Most common letter in the English language only has 1 spot. This game is whack, bro. Yeah, well, it all comes down to...
Oh, okay, now the difference between this and Wheel of Fortune is we give you the first occurrence of the letter. So the first E is the 3rd letter. Any letter after that could be an E. So each time you guess E, you'll get another chance at putting it somewhere. There's a B. No B's.
No B's. So
B's.
Tundra's out.
No.
Snoo
Okay,
is still
Tundra
going,
is-
and
Tundra's
so is
eliminated.
Roadwork.
SC New and Roadworks.
And we can
and
add
then we go to
Valiant.
Valiant.
Okay, then. He says E's. You get 2
Okay,
at a time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You're going to put all those E's?
1, 2.
2.
You're still alive. 3,
3,
4.
4.
Still alive. 5,
5,
6. Still alive. 7, 8 is the last letter, and so that next E will fail. It has turned yellow here, meaning that there were 9 of them, but there are no more E's.
Since
so
Roadworks...
you are therefore, Arlo Hero is now eliminated, but he wasn't in the queue anyway.
No, anyway. Snoo says, gives us
Yep.
an R. We'll throw out the E's because we just eliminated every E in the game.
That wasn't your fault.
Yeah. So,
And
Roadworks says
wanted
A.
AE, so I hit an S, sorry. I gave an extra clue.
Yes.
There is an A.
Was that me? EU from
And
no.
geez, we used up all the E's, but there's a U.
Uh-huh.
There's a U.
Oh, I would not have picked E if I knew. Yes,
Oh, that's
I know.
okay. We're not penalizing you for
Yes,
that.
yes.
We're
We
simply
know that. We're aware that that's...
all the E's have been, all 9 of the E's have been found.
Snooze says P-O.
P-O.
And we're adding in Belzar now. Belzar may start
Roadworks and
guessing.
Ryan Cheese and Belsar can all guess. Along with Sinu is still alive.
Looks like your stream title says you're playing WoW, by the way. Yeah, somebody didn't change it when I tried to tell them to.
Lori told me after she said, we'll start the stream. And
No, that wasn't it at all. I kept arguing with you. You haven't
I'm going to
changed
stop
the
and
title.
start again?
No, huh? All right.
I was editing the tweet.
Yes, and you weren't editing the title.
Yes, I edited the tweet instead of the title.
Yes, the tool has a greedy letters setting that reveals all occurrences of the letter, but that's a less good fit for the stream.
Okay, Belixor wants a Y. Nope. I have to get over here.
Yeah.
Wants a Y and an H. Both of those exist.
I'm kind of embarrassed that these guys keep paying more attention to me than I expect. Oh well, you're here. That's what
you're typing interesting
yes,
things, so
H,
respond to them.
An I.
Hi.
Hi.
Hiya. Pleased to meet you.
Okay, on next.
All right. Can anyone guess this phrase yet? This is from one of our games.
Yes, it's from one of ours. Okay.
We have a complete word, up.
All right.
Another one, of.
We're adding Candahede and Kanita can start giving us letters to put into this, to fill this out. It's going to be tough to guess what this phrase is, though.
And the rest of you in the stream, you're not getting a chance to guess because you didn't type ! Play.
All right.
RN for Belixor.
Registered nurses
RN.
are there.
That R gave most of that third word.
Yeah.
And they're both good.
Roadwork,
AA for
AA.
Roadworks. AA. They're both in there.
And Kanita says HJ.
HJ. We have 4 A's so far. There's an H. There's a J somewhere. No, there's no J's.
J is gone.
J was never here.
J is gone. All right,
HY from Belixor. There's an H. There's a Y.
There is another Y. Yes, indeed.
Why not?
So.
Wyandotte.
Okay, you can.
DW from SC New. Deutsche Welle.
Okay.
Oh, there's no W's. You have been eliminated, SC New.
For another round, yes.
Let me get through all these people.
Okay, we've already gotten through everybody, I think. Oh, Arlo Hero is now officially playing. Belzar says K and L.
K?
Yep.
There's a K, there's an L.
There's an L, yes. We're still going. We have not yet.
We have Roadworks and Valiant and Belixor and Candahede and Kanita. And we got Arlo back soon, but Arlo was eliminated once.
Yes. I'm not dead? Okay, well, we're just...
DG. Oh, you have most of the first word.
Oh, yes. R-I?
R-I. R-I. Those are good. M-U-R. M-U-R. Those are all in there.
Good, yes.
Okay, we have most of the first line now.
All right. Yes.
I have to rescue a bug. CM.
C. Whoop.
M.
M. Okay.
So what bug was there, Valiant?
G.
G.
G. There.
Okay, the first line is complete. It says,
four
dredging
words.
up memories of your, and you have to guess the rest of this phrase. Arlo wants a G. Did I put that in?
I thought you did.
What's
Well, that
the
was
last?
judging. I think the G
Yes,
was the
the
judging.
G is there. Yep.
Yes. So let's
All right, we need
guess.
some more letter guesses.
More
Come on, people.
letters. You're all in. I think you got my G. HP. HP. Love grab.
HP. Those both exist.
Yes. So you guys pay attention.
SS for Kanita.
Not really. SS. There. Both S's are there. We still got more S's to go.
See, by pretending to pay attention to our viewers means that we're actually doing this as an interactive thing instead of just lecturing, even though we mostly
can
just lecture.
easily lecture.
We can lecture.
TD.
There are no more T's. All the T's have been eliminated.
There are only 3
Roadworks
T's.
Gaming is eliminated and can rejoin the queue if you want.
Yes, I know the phrase, but I don't know how to play. Oh,
A for Belixor.
you just have to give us a couple letters. And then if they fit in there, then you can guess the phrase.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, just type in letters, and after you put in some letter,
There's two people that said oh. Did you put
yes.
in two sets of oh?
NFL, you're supposed to type exclamation point play. But if you know the entire phrase and want to type it in,
Yes.
go ahead and type it in. And there are no more T's. All T's are gone. And therefore, R-O-G.
R-O-G.
Trog, technically...
I see. I got the second line we've got pretty much.
Okay, so we got that R-O-G.
Oh, not sure what kind of bug it was.
Burninate.
It fell in the water. Oh no, yikes. That's the kind of bug I can't stand.
Felixar, D. There are no more D's. But there's
hopefully
an
it'll
M.
dry out and get back to its buggy
Felixar
visit.
is eliminated.
You can, well, you have to guess a couple right before you
Okay,
can.
first we have Anathel, who thinks she knows the entire phrase. So if you would like to type in the phrase Anathel, we will see if you can win. And otherwise, anyone else that has a complete answer can type
Everybody
it in.
can start, just add your things. Don't worry about...
Yeah, we're going to kill the queue at this point.
It's open.
It's now everybody. Close the queue. I'm going to close out all the names. I have a GC to make hieroglyphics.
Yes.
G and a C. You are
you
correct.
did.
You got that word. So you're on the right track.
All right, so fill it out.
Anybody can play. We're free for all. Treasure memories of your grade school hieroglyphics class. You think it says, "Look, the mooker has fallen off his mule."
Indeed.
Now, where did that weird phrase come from? Why did Lori put that in the game?
Because, Lord, behold, it was in the Arabic. It wasn't.
She had an English to Arabic dictionary. Oh, was it Arabic?
It was Arabic. It was the Arabic phrase. Look, the mooker has fallen off his mule.
And Lori was so amused by that, I put in too many...
I don't know what a mooker is. I think a mooker...
What's a mooker?
It didn't actually translate. That's supposed to be English, the English version.
I don't know. Let's try Merriam-Webster and see if they have it. If not, we'll have to go to slang, but it might not be appropriate for...
Yes, it may not. Don't ever go to a slang dictionary.
A mooker is not in the dictionary.
Yes. I may have gotten this from the spacing the blanks before the game begins. Regular expressions. Yeah, right. Uh-huh. What's a mooker? We don't know. I believe a mooker is the person who actually...
Well, I assumed a mooker was a fish.
No. The mooker has fallen off his... What was it?
I figured it was like a tourist is a mooker.
No, I believe
he fell off his mule because he's bad.
I believe the mooker is the drover, the person who...
Meaning of mooker.
Confused chimpanzee.
This one says, mooker, you are independent, industrious, being versatile, capable of talent.
Mooker name, yeah. I looked it up in an Urban Dictionary. Yes, it's probably not the translation.
Chimpanzee.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it wasn't in the Urban Dictionary. It's
Where's
the one who mooks. It is. So, yes, it was in an Arabic phrase book from the 40s. Yes. A substitute for a cuss word or a phrase to call someone that's being annoying. Mooker is a fine word to call somebody when they're being annoying. You mooker.
I have this other link over here for Bitmap Books. They have a guide to Japanese role-playing games. They have all kinds of books, such as, relevant to people here, The Art of Point-and-Click Adventure Games and The Art of Role-Playing Games. And they have just come out with the 3rd edition of The Art of Point-and-Click Adventure Games, and we own the 2nd edition because that was the... they neglected to put Hero's Quest or Quest for Glory in the 1st edition because the people doing the adventure game book says that's a role-playing game. But we weren't in the role-playing book because the people doing the role-playing book said, that's an adventure game.
It's two things in one.
So eventually, for the 2nd edition, they added us to the Art of Point-and-Click Adventure Games. And they've now come out with the 3rd edition. They were kind enough to send me my own copy of the entire PDF of the 3rd edition. So that I do not need to buy the book again to get the additional 28 pages they've added. So this is really an amazing book. It's got some great interviews, including with yours truly, Josh Mandel. There's an interview with Josh Mandel.
That's an interesting picture.
Call of Cthulhu, Shadow of the Comet.
And Anathel says she found an article that cites that phrase from that phrase book. Yes, yes.
Ah, excellent.
Yes, I'm glad to know. Sacrilege, classic case of handballing. I need to disappear. Thanks for the stream and have a lovely day.
And I'm also supposed to share our Patreon with everyone. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
And thank you for the tools that we use almost every stream.
Ho Boatman, or a phrase book revisited by...
This is our Patreon, which I haven't kept up with it quite as well as I should. And we have lost some patrons recently, so we're down to $900 a month, which is really useful for us because we keep not getting these games out, and it's hard to get an income before you release the game. So it's really helpful for people to join our Patreon, and that's helped support the stream as well as making games.
Point and click is tough with with unintentional tremors. Yes, indeed, I imagine. Anything is...
Intention tremor.
Yeah, well, intentional.
Attention tremor? I don't know.
Unintentional tremors, I believe, is the...
I wrote an article a little while ago about how I got into role-playing games, and that was actually started out as a post on the CRPG Addict blog.
Yes, he's very good at writing
Things
posts.
that don't bring us anything, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we hope some of you will join our Patreon. We hope you'll join our Discord. Search for Transsolar Games on Discord.
Have you ever played The Longest Journey? Great game, but man, a couple of those puzzles were not intuitive. We didn't play The Longest Journey. No. Apparently, it's an magazine article from the 1971. It cites, "Look, the mooker has fallen off the mule," and a bunch of other amusing phrases. If you Google the title, you can find the whole thing. Interesting enough, yes.
But do they explain it?
No, probably not.
I had a book when I was a teenager in Germany that was The Lover's Dictionary: How to Chat Up a Bird in 5 Languages.
Good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and they had various phrases like hello, would you like to go out to dinner with me? But they had some like want to come up and see my etchings that were a little bit more specific. And on one of those phrases, that was actually the want to see my etchings. So it was actually a mistranslation of phrase. So they had some of the words, phrases I knew in German or French. I suddenly realized that the English was almost no relationship to the other one. And so it was basically either the author's having fun with it or the translator giving up on a phrase and just typing in something silly.
On your earlier comment about wanting to do those things but not making enough as game developers, I guess I owe to being able to travel the world to you and to Al Lowe. Al kept including jokes in his games about how much fun it was to be a computer programmer, so that got me the means. You inspired me to want to travel the world. That's what to do with the money, correct, yes.
So the reason we did not go to the Greek Isles when we were developing Quest for Glory 5 is that we had the couple years in there where we weren't working, or that we were, we went to Legend Entertainment for a year to do Shannara, and we're kind of really scrambling. And so we had the time, but we didn't feel like we had the money. And then once we started working in Quest for Glory 5, we were, 60-hour weeks. Who can travel?
Yeah, really. So we either have money or we have
time
or we have...
Neither both together.
Yes.
Oftentimes we don't have money or time.
Yeah. Do you guys do gaming conventions? You'd be lauded and paraded if you ran some games at the bigger California.
Well, we have to be invited.
Well, we used to always do DundraCon, which is
we did DundraCon in
Bay Area.
Bay Area. And we did some filking conventions.
Intentional tremor is the
Intention
MS.
tremor.
Okay, intention.
Is a symptom of multiple sclerosis.
Yeah. I didn't know. I hadn't heard that term before. Day of the Dead is a hilarious game.
Okay, I don't know that. Day of the Tentacle was a lot of fun. That was a fun adventure game.
Yes. Want to come up and see my etchings? Sounds like a pretext if ever I heard one. Yes. Always walk away. Yes. Grim Fandango. Yes. Grim Fandango is Day of the Dead. It was a
Oh, okay,
very
yeah,
visually interesting game. That's another one.
We played a little ways at a Grim Fandango and got totally stuck on a
I
puzzle.
would much rather watch somebody play
Yeah.
it than actually play
Yeah, we got
the
totally
game.
stuck on a puzzle, and I just said, okay, I don't want to figure that out, and we stopped.
The next convention we're going to is actually next week. We're going to
Oh, yeah, we're going to Comic-Con,
Comic-Con.
San Diego Comic-Con.
mostly just to fan around.
Yeah.
I'm taking my camera, so I will take
Yeah,
pictures.
Larry will take pictures of any costumes, and we'll wander
things.
around and chat with people and buy stuff.
Yes,
That's what you mostly do at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, is buy stuff.
right. Well, we don't buy a lot of stuff. So.
Well, I was into Magic the Gathering for quite a long time, and I still have about 10,000 cards left of the 40,000 I had at one point.
Yes, we're going to
get rid of
Comic-Con
those.
on separate days because we have to stay. Somebody has to stay here and be with his mother. So.
Yeah, that's our full-time job right now, is
Yeah.
caregivers for my mother.
San Diego Comic-Con is the holy grail of cons, isn't it? Well,
Depends
it
who you
depends
ask.
on your. No, it also depends on what your focus is. If you're really into science fiction, more things, I'd go to Dragon Con, which is in
Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah,
Atlanta,
it's in
Georgia.
Atlanta. It's a huge con. It is the size of a San Diego Comic Con, and
And then there's the World Science Fiction
and then
Convention.
World-
It's really
it
the
used to
holy
be-
grail.
Used to be the holy
SF
grail
cons.
of SF cons, but and Dragon Con was more fans. But San Diego Comic Con, San Diego goes crazy. It really is the whole community goes out for San Diego.
I see
Comic
new
Con.
asks if we still play many games, and what are you playing now? So we discovered a problem with the game industry and why people weren't buying enough games. When my son started playing StarCraft, and then he had the StarCraft Brood War expansion, and for about 2 years he played nothing but that. And we said, wait a second, that means he's not buying games, or we're not buying games
we're
from him.
not bothering to buy
And,
any other games.
And we then and our friend Gano Hain, who was a co-author of EcoQuest, and then went on to she worked on one of the Nancy Drew games and Her Story, and worked for Electronic Arts for a while, and so on. Big person in the game industry, and Gano told us about Warcraft and Warcraft 2, and said they were just absolutely amazing, but didn't really play at the time. We weren't really into strategy games. So then came World of Warcraft, and Michelle Baker told Lori about World of Warcraft that was in beta at the time.
Michelle being my co-author of the
Co-author of How to Be a Hero.
Yeah.
And I started playing a little bit of World of Warcraft, and I hated it because I got literally seasick playing the game. But then I got a faster computer with a faster graphics card and no longer got seasick, and I've been hooked in World of Warcraft for the last 20 years.
SCD is a super spreader. I bet it will be. Yes. Have another meeting now. Thanks for the good time. Thank you, Kanita. Yes, we used to. Let's see. What was I going to say? What was your comment? You were talking about going to. What was your comment?
WorldCon?
No, not, just talking about before that.
Dragon Con and WorldCon.
Well, I don't know, but he used to do things with Kanita, so.
Oh yeah, well we'd always go with Kanita to the DunderCon in the Bay Area,
Yeah.
and she was part of our gamer group in San Jose area.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, when we played games, we played computer games with Kanita. We played World of Warcraft.
Oh,
with
well, we
Kanita.
played Wizardry first.
Well, yeah, but we played
We
World
did
of
play-
Warcraft.
We did play a little bit of WoW. We started up some characters so we could play from the beginning with her.
Yes, so we played with her. WoW. We're still playing WoW. We're playing Heroes of the Storm, another Blizzard game that's now obsolete and going to
Yep,
be kicked
yeah.
off.
Well, they're no longer. They're still going to run the game, but they're no longer going to have
But
any
we
new
play
content.
that with friends. It's a great game for
Yeah.
friends. And I'm playing Hearthstone Mercenaries, which is a strategy game stuck in Hearthstone.
Yeah, so Hearthstone is a Magic the Gathering like card game, and within that they have a strategy game called Mercenaries, and that's the one
Yeah.
Lori's into.
All right, so Arlo Hero says, I actually like the choice of Marit as the Gloriana version of Crete.
Yes, which of course is what it's based on.
Marite, Crete.
Marite.
Yes. Fate of Atlantis inspired me to watch the documentaries on Atlantis and get interested in the Minoan ruins, but I hadn't known that Crete was the traditional birthplace of European civilization. I've stood underneath the tree where Zeus made love to Europa, who gave birth to Europe. The hero being the king of the birthplace of European civilization is a nice touch.
Oh, we were really into Greek mythology from childhood.
Yes.
And later on, we got into Egyptian mythology, which is why we had the Egyptian references in
Yep.
Game 3.
That was an odd time for PC gaming. Half-Life 1 topped sales charts for like 5 years straight. Yes.
There's always been a small number of extreme winners in games. Call of Duty is one of those extreme winners. I think it was Microsoft Flight Simulator was at the top of the charts for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Aren't all busy cons super spreader events? Exactly. Bridge conventions are terrible.
Yeah, I went to the Thanksgiving period Fall Bridge National Championships and was sick for 2 months after that.
Not from COVID, though. Not from COVID.
No, well, it was right about just before COVID started, so
Yeah.
probably wasn't, but
Yes. I played
might as well
WoW
have
from
been.
vanilla to Cataclysm, but I can't seem to get back into it when I've given it another shot.
Uh,
That's good for you.
Yeah, the current expansion, Shadowlands, has a lot of problems with it story-wise and so on. It's got really interesting areas and stuff, but lore-wise, doesn't quite work.
Cameron says, WoW killed 3 of my D&D groups. Players just disappeared for years at a time, reappearing either skinny or overweight. The Big Bang Theory episode where Penny gets addicted to MMOs. I saw people living that. Yeah, really.
Well, the South Park, where they had the Sword of Truth
Yes,
episode.
everybody getting hugely fat,
and all the
eating junk food.
yeah.
You should try Smite. Sort of similar to concept of Heroes of the Storm, but more of the third-person view. Like, wow. Huh.
Yeah, Smite is an action game. It looks quite interesting. Calabag from my guild was actually streaming Smite, and yeah, I don't know. See, we don't need another game.
Having started WoW in vanilla, I really don't find the retail version fun anymore. Classic, on the other hand, is as fun as I remember it. Huh.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the problems with D&D is you can't step in the same stretch of river twice. It's not the same river and you're not the same person. And we discovered with playing Dungeons & Dragons that, the memories we had of the mystery and excitement and fun when we were first playing it as very weak beginning characters. Then we tried to roll up beginning characters again and start over, and it's not the same because now we know what a kobold is, we know what a gelatinous cube is, we know what a holy sword is and all those things.
That isn't the same definition of fun anymore, so yeah.
Yeah, it's not new anymore.
Love mythology. I still have to work my way through all the different cultures of the world, like Africa, yes, South and Central America, Polynesia, yeah.
WoW was mostly as fun as the people we were playing it with. So we did start a Quest for Glory guild in WoW Classic, and I played it for a few days and got bored with it. So went back to trying to do raiding and high-level Mythic Plus dungeons by my regular retail WoW characters.
How can you kill that which has no life? If you made a Quest for Glory 6, what culture, part of the world would you based it on? We were going to go with...
either India or China, I think.
We were going to go to India with the, Wolfie had taken the balloon. What is a balloon? We took the balloon to India, back to his homeland, and I would have put your kids going that way. Or
we called it Inja, I-N-J-A,
Yeah.
which I have no idea whether that would be offensive to somebody.
Nowadays we'll probably change the name, yeah.
Expansion packs still would have taken place in the Mediterranean.
Yes, the children would have gone far.
Yes, so that was the one route was the expansion packs, and then the other route was doing the new games.
The new series.
So the new series would have been set in the Orient. In Asia, and we would have
Asia, but then we would have gotten back probably to other cultures too.
Yeah.
So we had 2 games in there, so you can see we didn't actually just, Well, yes, I just answered it, but that's exactly.
Yep.
Great minds think alike. Currently, our.
Actually, I did read that. I was responding to that.
I know. I was reading. Both of them worked at the same time. Our current games, the Hero U, are set in
Sardinia. Which we call Sardonia, like sardonic humor.
But what we're doing is bringing in all the characters from other places, and so you're getting your culture tours by way of characters. So our next game, the game we're bringing out this year, is Tilly's Tale, but the next game is Ifeo's Adventures, and he is from Yoruba.
Now, when Lori was doing running games set in the Mediterranean and in the Caribbean, all of our places had food names. So we had the Caribbean Isles, and we had. So we would have gone with the town being Calamari, but we discovered there was a problem because the actual capital of Sardinia is Calamari.
Yeah,
So we changed it to Caligari based on an old movie called The Cabin of Dr. Caligari instead.
Yeah. I saw that on the old School for Heroes that the website that Gloriana was one big landmass like Pangea.
No, I don't think so.
Not officially. And I did see that. There's somebody that has a big map.
Yeah, somebody did a map like that, but that was not. That's not canon.
Yeah. Have you ever talked to whoever owns Sierra now, officially calling Hero U Quest for Glory?
The owner of the Quest for Glory series is Activision Blizzard. So in theory, they should love us because we've poured hundreds or thousands of dollars into WoW, probably thousands. But yeah, we did talk to them about a couple years into Hero U Road Redemption. We were with a group, a development company that went to try to license the series, and at that point, Activision was just doing the new King's Quest, and they said no because if the King's Quest game was successful, they would be recycling all of the old adventure games into new series. King's Quest, however, was not successful by the standards of Activision. It probably was very successful by standards of an indie game, but by the company that does Call of Duty and World of Warcraft, it wasn't giving them billions of dollars, so they did not follow up since then. But we have not talked to them since then because, we don't really want to be doing Quest for Glory.
No, and the Hero U games are not Quest for Glory in the sense that they are not the choice of characters. You're basically doing Indiana Jones, well, that too, but Monkey Island style, where you're playing a character.
Yeah, you are a rogue. You're a particular character.
Yes, with a particular personality
Son O'Connor,
that
like
you
Guybrush
flavor.
Threepwood.
Yes, you're flavoring him. You're making what he does.
Nona Perel is the heroine of Hero U 2 Wizard's Way, if we ever make it.
Yes.
And the problem is that needs about a $2 million budget, and we don't have that.
Yeah. What was your published D&D module called?
My published D&D module was Tower of Indomitable Circumstance. Heck. Published by Judges Guild. Judges Guild is defunct. I have looked at the old contract, and I actually own the rights to that now. So once they stopped sending me royalty statements, it reverted to me. And a fan, Fast Jimmy, who has written some great guides to Hero U Road Redemption, actually did scanned the entire module and sent me the scan and did a conversion to D&D 5th edition.
There you go.
So there we go. So I have a 5th edition conversion, but I confess that I haven't looked at it.
We're talking about maybe publishing it as a PDF.
Yeah.
With some illustrations. So yes.
So back when we proposed Hero U, the reason we did Road to Redemption was because Lori and I were broke, and we started having a lot of fans come to us and say, "Hey, look at this Kickstarter thing. You guys should go do a Kickstarter." And so we did, and we discovered it made us even more broke.
Yes.
So it would actually be much more practical for us to do PDF tabletop role-playing games or write books than to write games, because you don't have the overhead of full-time artists and programmers on a book or a PDF.
Yes, we never do anything easy.
But anyway, so when we were deciding whether to do Hero U, we actually had about 5 or 6 ideas, one of which was to do a game with the Israeli company that we were doing contract work for at the time. One of them was Hero U, which is what we ended up doing. We had the Wizard's Way, could have been the first Hero U. We had taking Lori and Michelle's book, By the Book, How to Be a Hero, and getting that edited up and sent out. I still think we should do that.
Yeah, Bolt Rally slide assay.
Bolt Riley, yeah, which was originally based in Bob Marley's life, but Sedalia Marley played through a little bit of it and hated it and said you can't never license anymore.
Yep.
So they renamed it to Bolt Riley.
Yep.
We had some really good ideas. The part of the consultation, the opening scene of the concert where they get inspiration and get high was actually my idea, but it was something that came to me in a dream, and I was frustrated with, and then I gave that to them as a joke, and they ended up doing that.
Not exactly the way we said
yeah,
it,
but it was basically not something we actually planned. But we wrote the second third of the game, and they only made the first third. So part of the game we wrote has never been done.
Yes. Slowly, I'm doing a fan adventure game now between work and kids. Oh, yeah, between work and kids, that's really slow because it's always hard. Pillaging off of old D&D games and Dungeons for ideas. Any IP you own the rights to is a good IP, exactly. And we own the rights to Hero U, yes.
And to Tower of Indomitable Circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible title, too wordy, too big words, bad for title.
At any rate, it's after 4.
So it's time to play Quest for Glory 3.
I thought we were going to say goodbye
after
4.
My official schedule, this runs for 2.5 hours.
Oh, does it? I don't know.
Yeah, so we still have 18 minutes.
Okay, so we will start Quest for Glory 3 just to show it off.
Oh, but I was supposed to, of course, go to the desktop first, and I'm going to have a hard time with this now. Because I started it. And it's now in this tiny window.
That's all right.
Let's just restart it.
Okay, yeah, you could do that.
Okay, that's the easiest way.
I can't be the only fan who really wants to read How to Be a Hero game and hope that it will see the light of day somewhere.
We put most of the How to Be a Hero book up on YouTube, and we recorded the rest of the chapters, and Mouse Mary Jest was helping us frame the videos, and we just haven't got back to it. Well, we should. It's been 2 years since we last posted something on that. And we're missing about 5 chapters, and it'll be at the end of the book. Play the game. Create a character. Let's go make a wizard. This character, fighter. What's it called? Is it wizard or magic user? It's magic user. Or thief. No, name is rogue. Let's build up some intelligence. Let's get some more magic. Let's get some luck.
Quest for Glory was
vitality.
Broadly mapped out at the start with the theme of 4s. 4 games, 4 settings, 4 seasons. Yes, exactly.
Yes. We'll name this character Tarna, because that's what the game's set. There's my wizard.
At least that's how we proposed the game.
Is this too loud for everyone? Probably.
But thank you, Akisha, my prince, for answering my summons. I have information for both of you. The music is so nostalgic. As you know, 3 months ago in Rasir, the evil Auden beasts attempted to unleash the Jinn Iblis in order to rule the world. Gee, flashback time.
So now you know what Aziza sounds like. Auden stood before his hexagram, preparing to unleash the foul Iblis to do his bidding. Hear me, O dark powers, light the darkness and bind Iblis to me forever. That's what Auden sounds like. But the magic user
entered the room and broke the seal of Suleiman by removing the candle.
You idiot! You have destroyed my spell. Now you shall be destroyed.
Got your candle.
You spelled reversal. Protected you from his spells.
So if you never finished the game, too, now you have, unfortunately, Auden also had a spell to reflect spells. But you cleverly banked the spell off the wall.
Just like in billiards, and
yes.
The whole idea was to use indirection.
Yes.
And he calls for his master. That was very important, actually. I should have read that dialogue.
You should have, yes.
Master, help me!
Bounced it off and hit the flaming brazier, knocking Auden to his doom below.
Yes, brazier is not the same word as brazier. Little known fact. Got your candle.
When Auden died, His magical power was released, and I could sense the moment of his death. Such a release of power could be felt by skilled magic users all over the world. Still, there is some mystery concerning the death of Adavis.
Which will not be resolved until Quest for Glory 4.
Yes. It is very disturbing that the body of Adavis could not be found, even with all my magic. I cannot determine who or what removed the body or what became of it afterwards.
Yes, the evil A. Davis. It was actually Bill Davis was out of East.
I believe the unbinding of Adavis' power could well have other darker results.
That's why the background of the screen is dark.
Yes. Now we are again in my house in Shapir. Hero, you have become the Prince of Shapir by order of the Sultan, Harun al-Rashid. Rakesh now desires to return to his home in Tarna. Last night, I received a message from the sorceress Trisha in Tarna.
Ooh, it's pentagram.
Please tell Rakesh
New voice.
Please tell Rakesh that he must return quickly to Tarna. There is serious talk of war here, and I think only Rakesh can now bring peace. I believe there is more to this war than just the anger of two tribes. I believe that a demon has again broken through to this land and seeks to destroy us all. In 3 days, a magical portal will open in Shapir to take Rakesh back to Tarna. I suggest that if you, Prince of Shapir, wish to truly be a hero, you should accompany Rakesh.
What? I haven't done enough yet?
If there is indeed a demon, it is probable it was released into the world by the death of Adavis. You must stop it and send it back to its own world. There you go, the whole plot in the first minute of the game.
And who needs to play the rest?
Yes.
Asian Waste says, personally, I'm glad you added Tarna Chapter. Even though it broke the broad theme, the African setting is rarely done. Actually, I can't think of anything other than usual Egyptian settings. Tarna was teeming with immersion. It really did feel like you were an actual foreign country. Yeah, we had a great show with that. It greatly grieves me to say farewell to such fine guests and feathered friends. Rakesh, you are a great aid to me, and I sorrow to see you return to Tarna. Oh, great Sultan, it has been an honor to serve you. Uhura, warrior of the Simbani, you have been a most excellent guild master for the Adventurers Guild and a gifted instructor of combat. Thank you for your services to Shapir.
I was reading the comments over there. I leave Shapir with great treasure, my son Simba. I will never forget this place, but it will be good to go home again.
My son, it breaks my heart to see you leave. You will always have a home here in Shapir.
Splash of Egypt in Tarna too, with Sekhmet and Anubis as a meat merchant. Yeah.
My gift for your leaving comes from the gnome. Keep on laughing. I asked him for something you would find useful. And it serve you well. That may seem odd, but Keep on Laughing's a wizard, and your player, and this is a magic user, so you got something appropriate. And a big hug from the Sultan. And an Ankh-shaped portal, which somebody said we were copying Ultima. And it's just, you know, we both read. Farewell, all of you. May you find the peace you seek.
Arlo Hero says, by the way, I don't know if Philippe Petit, the man who walked between the Twin Towers on a tightrope, was an inspiration for Petit's character, but I've been thinking lately how similar he is in terms of the life he's led. He's the son of a military man, but he never got along with his father, and named his daughter Gypsy because of the lifestyle he lived. She was in my second grade class, but sadly died from a brain aneurysm several years later. Sad.
Oh my.
Wow. Yikes. Any plans for Simba in a Hero U game? Seriously?
You talked about it.
I did, and I talked about where he would go and what he would be doing.
And you forgot?
No, I didn't. And the things I was thinking about, he really belongs down there. He belongs in Tarna. He is.
Yeah, but they may send him off to finishing school to get a little polish.
Yeah, that's true. He's of two worlds. But no, Simba wasn't, but certainly other characters are. So I think he's a hero in for
How do you
Kana.
pronounce Quaharini?
Quaharini is good enough.
Quaheri. Oh no, Anethel keeps losing her connection.
Yes, Heroes Canon is Germany. Yes.
This is the young hero about whom Aziza spoke with you. He is the adopted Prince of Shapir and a most honorable man.
I keep losing my connection. Sorry about
Most
that.
honored to meet you, Prince of Shapir.
I can sense that you are also skilled with magic. Know, however, that the usage of magic is forbidden upon the streets of Tarna in order to protect those without magic.
Then Vadadale, an Anglo-Celt origin. Yeah, that was Paula Spies's player character in Hero's Quest, and she made it canon, but we never intended that to be the hero's name or the background. It's supposed to be Germanic.
Mm-hmm.
There's a weight cursor here. Maybe we can change it to a mouse.
You could.
A mouth.
A mouth.
Ask about...
So if you had continued the Quest for Glory series with the Offspring storyline, would the hero be an NPC? Yes, he would be an NPC, and you'd talk to your father. It'd be interesting to hear the hero talk as a father. You wouldn't get a lot of conversation with him, because honestly, we tried never to put words into the hero's mouth since he was your character. So, yes, you'll never get to hear much about the hero talking.
I'm rereading Jim Butcher's series Codex Alera, and they have the major character in there. Doesn't even know who his father is, and has some interactions with him without realizing who he is. And it's about the third book where you finally realize who his father is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or his I guess his grandfather.
Okay.
In the book. His father's dead.
Okay.
Ask about magic.
I am a worker of spells, specializing in teleportation and communication. The magical portal which brought you here is an example of my magic.
Now, one of the things I think we did in this is you can click the ellipse on yourself, and that allows you to tell instead of asking, because the normal interface in the first two games was ask about, and now we have ask about and tell about. You talked about your experiences Shapir and how you defeated Adavis.
You wouldn't get a lot of conversation with the hero because he'd just say things like, ask about Tarna!
Yep.
Yes, that would be hilarious, personally. Say goodbye.
Enough already!
All right.
Saying goodbye would have been polite, but
Yes.
I wonder how you get out of here.
I
You
don't
have
know.
to say
You
goodbye
use
to
it,
leave.
Maybe you have to click on the things and actually walk.
I wonder where the exit is, though. Is it left or right?
I don't know, because they didn't make it obvious in this picture. I have reserved a room in your name at the nearby inn. I can see you are eager to explore our city. Farewell, Prince of Shapir.
Farewell, my friend. In 2 days I will stand before the Council of Judgment and speak of peace. I would like you to be there as well. Then we can journey together to the Simbadi village. In the meantime, explore and enjoy Tarna. If you have any questions, you will find us here. Enter freely. You'll be welcome at any time.
I like how they're just staring
And then
at
she says,
yes, well, almost any time.
almost any time.
After all, Rakesh and I need some time to speak with one another again after such a long party. Good day. Yes, and the hero says, I like how they were staring at each other, wanting to catch up after being away for so long, and the hero just keeps telling them about himself when they clearly can't wait for him to leave. Yes, I love this game. Youngest you was always disappointed that you can't go any further with flirting at the women in the inn. Yes, yes. Speak to one another in quotes. Yes, indeed.
You don't want to get near enough to talk to this person. How about this one? That person does not understand your language. So leave a tiny pixelated character here.
Yes, really pixelated. Go to the apothecary, they said. We'd have to find the apothecary. I'm not sure what the map is like anymore. Man, we found it!
I knew where it was.
Uh,
This is not me. This looks about like a lot like me at the time. It's actually John C. Wentworth played the apothecary.
Remember, we did this in rotoscoping. These people were most of these characters' faces were based off of real world people.
Yeah, people who worked with Sierra and such.
You didn't read that dialogue. You got to read his dialogue.
You were talking on.
Yes,
I didn't want to interrupt you.
I didn't realize it clicks off. I thought this was quick.
No, it goes off automatically.
Yeah, that's not it. Yes.
Ask about name. My name is Salim Nafs. That means healthy soul in Arabic. In numerology, I am an 8. I am also a Libra.
He talked a lot like John Wentworth, too.
What's a Libra? A Libra, is the scale. That means I'm a well-balanced individual. And what's your sign? It doesn't allow me to tell what my sign is.
Oh, too bad.
I can talk about Shapir. You tell about your adventures in Shapir. I have dreams about a desert land like that. They're like so real. It's like, wow.
Hippie vibes, yeah.
I dream I'm in this like desert place with like golden sand and stuff. I'm dancing with this tree, and it like changes. Suddenly this tree's like a woman and like she's beautiful. It's really magical. Tell about Julinar. So by going back and forth with the mouth cursor on yourself and the other character, you can actually have something kind of like a conversation. And we up this level of magnitude in Hero U. The conversation's really the thing about the game. You tell about how you helped the Julinar of the tree. How extraordinary! The girl of my dreams is real! I'm so thrilled to hear it. I will leave for Shapir on the next caravan there. Oh, and therefore you don't have an apothecary the rest of the game.
No, they wanted you to use the hookah.
Oh, come on now. That's that might get me banned from Twitch for
banned from Marco?
Okay. So glad to see you again. I've been thinking about that. Okay, use the pipe hose. They're too short to reach while you're standing up. All right. Can we slash sit? No. Click on the hero. Straighten out your jacket.
How about...
I don't know how you sit.
Sanford and Son as merchants was also wonderful. I'm glad. But you should know I'm the world record holder for the speed run that does nothing but use the pipe. Well, we're trying to figure out how to use the pipe. So
I'm trying to figure out how to sit down. Seems like I should be able to click on the rug and
you
sit.
Think.
Oh, I did. I had to do it from the right angle.
Oh, okay. There, you did it. Yes. You can barely get to the pipe with it sitting. Jeez. You have to get up above it. You have to try that.
Nothing happens when you try to smoke the unlit pipe.
Oh.
Let's look at our inventory. Have we got anything to light it with?
Did your behind-the-scenes understanding of Gloriana Force have any origins for how paladins were created, or with just this unexplained thing that's been passing their swords to the next generation since before anyone knows? Yes, actually, we did talk about how paladins universe, and it was basically there's this concept like the Force that's called, the Force. We didn't name it, but there is a concept of there is a true good and evil, and so the paladin is in tune with this force.
Yes, he's in tune with the inner rightness of the universe.
Rightness, yes, and so therefore it's coming from this knowledge and from this power and this faith.
Let me go to the controls and turn off the sound for a moment, because people probably can't hear me.
Yeah.
Okay, game is paused and it's silent. So basically the idea is that there is a kind of magic to the universe, and the paladin character is in tune with that essential rightness of the universe, and therefore knows what is right and what's wrong. And this is, ongoing discussion, because we said there's really, on the surface, not much difference from a paladin and a grifter, who basically, or somebody who is absolutely sure he knows what's right, even though he's really a murderer, or whatever. Not a grifter. Grifter's a bad one.
Yeah.
But the question is, how do you tell the difference between, a politician who is doing what's right for people and most people disagree with, versus the paladin who's just always right? And the answer is because the paladin in this magical game, as opposed to in real life, really is in tune with the inner righteousness of the universe.
Absolute right of the universe, yes. And that there is an absolute right and wrong. There is evil with capital E's in this game. So.
Yeah, so we, in real life, we're always talking about things like, trying to reduce pollution and reverse environmental destruction. I've been talking about that since we were teenagers.
Yeah.
And it keeps getting held up by people that are saying, but that'll cost me money right now. And I want to make more money now. I want to live a great life. So the Paladin doesn't care about that sort of thing.
Yes. Did you try to sneak the Hukal Easter egg with 5? No, we didn't actually. Most Easter eggs were made up by the team, not by the designers. If they're a true Easter egg, I didn't know about them till after the game was out.
Half the time, yeah.
Yeah. It's 4:30.
I know.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out how to light this.
He said you
and I
need
was
the
thinking,
tinder box.
Oh, okay. We don't have it.
No. I mean, who made the first Paladin sword? It was a sword. And where did it come from? It came from the need and the paladin, the would-be paladin, the person who didn't know what a paladin was, but really knew that he needed something badly and he was going to risk his life for this, even though he knew he was going to die. That's when the first sword became the paladin sword. It suddenly became lit by that power of faith that I will do this no matter right nor wrong. I mean, I will do this because it is the right thing to do. That conviction and that will created the sword to flame, and it became the paladin sword. I feel we need a real paladin during these times.
So
well, unfortunately, you can't just smite somebody that needs to be smit. Yeah,
hey, it's funny. You got to take a trip to the money changer. So somewhere in the game, you can acquire a tinderbox and use it to light the hookah.
Probably go down to Sanford and Son. Yes.
I might have it right here for all I know.
How would we know them when they came along? Probably if they're holding a badass sword while they're walking along. We suspect they're pretty crazy. Yes.
Yeah.
And we need that ring of truth also. Yes, we need the ring of truth for sure.
Save? Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do anything.
We'll just quit.
Okay.
Wanna split? Yes. So a question that came up very recently on Quora was basically Christians trying to troll atheists and said...
Tinderbox come from Stanford and Son.
All right.
Yeah, I thought so.
And says, as an atheist, what will you do when Jesus comes back? And the answer I loved was, you should worry about what you as a Christian will do because you won't recognize Jesus. He'll come, he'll have olive brown skin and a beard. He'll, basically be a Middle Easterner. You're not going to recognize him, and you're probably, in fact, going to mistreat him because he's not white like you. So you're the one who's going to have trouble with Jesus, whereas we atheists, tend to basically treat people as people, and we get along fine with Jesus.
Yes, it will repeated the last time. Yes,
Heavens, yeah. Somebody said he won't even have to be crucified because if he starts talking like he did in the Bible and walking around, he'll get shot in no time flat.
It feels weird to remember what you need to do in the game better than the creators. Haha. Well, remember, I haven't played the game.
We haven't played these games in 30 years.
Yes, and maybe I didn't even play most of this game.
I did play Quest for Glory 3 is the only one I played all the way through, and actually I played Quest for Glory 2 all the way through.
Yes, and I played 4, and I played 5. I enjoyed playing 5 because I loved the AI on the characters and things like that. At any rate, well, we're glad you all showed up.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
and we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time. That'll be in August.
Yes, it's funny how fans love it was the last of this.
July 30th.
Yes.
We will be back July 30th.
Fans love their games more than the creators. The creators see all of the things that went wrong.
Yes, every flaw, every bit of stress we had during development. All the terror we had, our games would be canceled.
All the bad reviews, all the comments of somebody that said...
I couldn't... if I saw a good review in a game, Lori would not look at it because she knew that there would be one line. Because, reviewers feel obligated to mention both the good and the bad. She knew there would be one line of criticism somewhere in the review and said, I don't want to hear it. I just want to make my next game.
Yep. That's why, because we remember the flaws as much as we do the triumphs.
Yeah, Quest for Glory 4 is our, is what people normally pick as their favorite game in the series, and we agree. But boy, it was completely unplayable at launch.
And
It
it
crashed
was
all over the
horrifying.
place. It still does sometimes. But oh man,
Yes.
that voice acting is amazing.
Yes. Let me know if you want some Smite, Coachy. Okay, thank you. This is why I
Okay,
never
who's
do beta
offering
test. That's
Oh,
Snoop.
Sinu.
Oh, yes. And we didn't tell. Is the one who won the got the phrase still here? Yeah,
All right, who was it who guessed our,
it
our
was Ella
phrase?
Phil, whatever her name is. Go look at the list. Is she? Oh,
Uh,
yeah. There.
Anna Phil.
Anna Phil.
Oh, Phil, we need to tell you what to do.
Yes. Phil, you did actually win things,
At Phil,
Anyway,
please
was intended
send
to be the best
an
game, even
email.
though you didn't know it. Yes.
to support@hero-u.net with your screen name and mention that you won phrase Flummoxer.
Yes.
I'll eventually email you a fabulous
Game key.
I can't even spell.
No, you can't.
Game key prize.
Must have been nerve-wracking releasing the game prior to when you could just release a patch. Yes, it was. You knew you sent out a game that was unplayable, like Quest for Glory.
Yeah,
4.
Sierra did sell patches. They had a newsletter and so on, and people were supposed to send in a postcard to register the game. And if they did that, they got to learn about the patches. But an awful lot of players never. They were like downloaded from bulletin boards and stuff. So Anethel wins the prize. So I'm about 2 months behind and feeling very guilty about that. But I'm about 2 months behind in sending out stream prizes. So I will catch up about that with that in the next week or two.
Yes. We really intended there to be a conclusion after 4. 4 is so dark and gloomy, and we wanted you to come to
It
the
didn't tie
full-
up the loose ends.
And it didn't have a big reward at the end. And so their 5 was going to be the big reward for the whole game series. So yes.
So Dragonfire had various names. We called it King's Crown at one point.
Yes, it was King's Crown when we were first working on it, yes.
But that was to be the culmination of the whole story, and that's the idea. King's Crown. It becomes where you become king.
Yes, and that would be the reward for everything. Let's see. Where did you get the name of Vuzel from?
Avuzal. That comes from the Satanic Rituals book by M. Sandor LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, which was sort of a carnival hype version of Satanic Church. And he had a spider god named Avuzal in that. So we thought that was just too cool not to use.
Word. It was
That's
a great
word.
So, yes, our sources are varied and wide.
Yes, Aquino, the name scrawled on the wall in either blood or red wine or something.
Blood.
It's
Yeah.
in blood.
Yeah.
In Hero U Road to Redemption is Michael Aquino was the founder of the Temple of Set, which was the successor to the Church of Satan. So
Yes.
anytime we get somebody with a really good name or something, I mean, Aquino, Avuzal, these names are just too good not to use.
Yes. King's Crown would have been confused with King's Quest, which is why we changed
Yeah.
it.
I think we also tried Hero's Crown was another possible title.
There was not a hexapod in Keep On Laughing shop. That was predating the idea of the hexapod.
Yeah, we
so-
didn't actually even come up
and
with it by then.
that was Jerry Moore, the artist's just rendition of anything crazy for the room. So that's why we incorporated the Black Bird, because Jerry Moore was our favorite artist. He just had a crazy imagination.
Yeah, we said basically put in the things that might be treasures into this
Yes,
treasure room.
and so therefore we got.
And he came up with the Maltese Falcon as one of the
Yes,
treasures.
and that's where we got the Maltese Falcon.
So we decided the Blackbird was then a storyline in the future games.
Yes, I'd avoid anything with the name King. Yes, exactly. It was silly. Yeah.
Unless, of course, if we sold more copies because they thought it was King's Quest.
No. And it was just a crazy
Or if somebody did a
coincidence,
search for King's Quest and came up with Hero Quest or Quest for Glory King's Crown.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. Gordon Walton, who worked on Star Wars The Old Republic, is now in charge of a game called, I think it's called Artcraft Studio or something like that. And they have a game they describe as a Throne War game, which means that if you're searching for Game of Thrones, which was popular when they first started looking at it, you would get a hit on it. And the Game of Crows, but they call it a throne war game, and that's a massively multiplayer game that they just wanted that coincidence in names to get people searching for something else to find them.
When are we going to get a Marvel-style crossover when the hero teams up with King Graham and Roger Wilco?
Well, Lori worked on a Marvel game.
Yes, but I did not know. Did not.
She had the Fantastic Four in a game she was working on
Yes.
for an educational game.
Yep.
That got canceled. So many of her games have been canceled.
When Activision runs short of ideas, yeah, really. When Activision is truly desperate,
when they stop making sequels that automatically sell $100 million per game, yeah.
At any rate, thanks everybody for coming.
Yeah, adventure games are just too small potatoes for them. They don't care about anything that isn't going to make them $1 billion.
Yep. So, at any rate, we'll see you on the 30th.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.
Same bat time, same bat channel, 30th of June.
Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.